Patterson from the pocket, flushed, chased down by Parsons. Is he playing fast tonight or what, Kirk?
Welcome to Sic'Em365 Radio.
Oh my God! How about them Cowboys? Woo! Yeah! And with the 12th pick in the 2021 the NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Michael Parsons. Woo! Linebacker, Penn State. Yeah!
Sic'Em365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
Yeah, I like Michael Parsons. I've probably been telling you guys that for 3 weeks, right? I like the linebacker. All I know is the Cowboys were gosh awful against the run last year, and I don't know where the cornerback helps that out.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
A.J. Davis.
And Micah Parsons is having a tremendous game. 6 tackles in the first half. That's his second tackle for loss today.
Now here's David Smoke, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoke.
All right, here we go this Friday on Sic'Em365 Radio. So much to get to, including day 2 of the NFL Draft. The Cowboys, how many picks they have, Paul, between round 2nd and 3rd?
They have 4.
4 picks today. They have Micah Parsons, the linebacker from Penn State. Not sure if that fell in their lap or if they really did want one of the corners. Of course, Jerry. And I've never, ever watched a cow or heard since he's been there where they said, no, that's who we had highest rated on the board. And he's a hell of a player.
Well, I think it's pretty clear they didn't want Micah Parsons originally. That's why they traded down. They had their corner swiped out from right in front of them. So that's very clear to me that they were not intending to draft Micah Parsons. So, yeah, he fell in their lap because their only other choice was to draft back again and maybe get another 3rd or 4th rounder. So, yeah, they didn't really have much of a choice. They were either going to pick in the first round or they were going to keep falling and falling and falling.
That's a great point. If Patrick Surtain or if Horn's available at 10, do they trade back?
No,
okay.
They would have taken him, and that's what you could see. Like the minute that Roger Goodell said Patrick Surtain, I turned to my girlfriend and said, "Hey, they're going to trade back." And I texted you and said they're about to trade back. And as soon as the words came out of my mouth, it popped up on the screen that they'd already done it. So they knew. I mean, they knew that what their plan was. I did think it was a little weird. Of course, maybe it's because they didn't want to trade all the way back to 20 at that time. But if the Bears are going to give you a first-round pick next year to go up and get Justin Fields, I mean, I don't know why you don't take that call.
Well, it was interesting, no question. It all started to get interesting about number 8 with Matt Rule in Carolina and what they did by picking Horn. And then, of course, it kind of led to a bunch of the trading back. The NFC East was busy with the Eagles moving up, the Cowboys moving back, the Giants being in between, and Washington also in the top 20 as well. Got a couple of notes we'll get to. I spoke with Baylor signee Jeremy Sochan. He's in London. He's in London. He's played for Germany. He's played the international circuit with Poland. He's the youngest player to ever represent Poland's international team. He's 17 years old when he did. He told me today, and this is good news, that he was going to play internationally this summer with Poland, but he's decided to move back to the United States sometime here in the next month, be on campus, enroll at Baylor, and be a part of what they do during the summer with whatever they do. I don't think the trip to China is on anymore. I just watched part of the thread with Ashley said that may be off. They were going to play a late August international tour like they've done before. But that's a good deal. That's a hell of a nice note for Scott Drew, Jerome Tang, John Jacobs and company, that he's going to be on campus by sometime, you would think, in early June as well. We'll have Jeremy joined he's 6-hour difference. He's going to join us today at 5. I did record that earlier today. Now, a couple of other notes. We might be adding Nate Newton to the mix here in just a moment. We take a break. I'm going to call him. He just called us. We're trying to get him on. Brian Skinner, former Baylor great, at 4. Grayson Grundhoefer at 3:45 on recruiting and also his comparisons of James Akinjo to Jared Butler. Jim Cobern's an NFL analytics guy. I saw him last night trying to talk about some of the players and where they were. He'll join us 4:20. Mickey at 4:45, who nailed the Micah Parsons pick, and then Jeremy Sochan, Paul's top 5 women's basketball all-time backup point guards. He'll join us today. That will be his top 5 today.
It is not. I promise you. I've gone the well of my women's basketball top 5s is dry.
And we'll give you a little bit of a nugget or two on the coaching search, which, as you can tell, there's names that were out there, names that are still involved, but also the Mac Rhodes tight-lipped. No matter what someone said on the board 2 or 3 days ago, and one of the nutsiest things I've heard is, how come if his coaching searches are so airtight, how did the Mulkey leak get that she was interested in LSU? Because she said that in all basically terms, and that's the last time I'm going to talk about it, at least for today. It was a week ago, in fact, 2 weeks ago today, wasn't it, when all of that kind of flared up? Was it a week ago or 2 weeks ago?
No, it's been like a week.
It's been a week ago today. All right.
Yeah, because I guess she did the radio in Baton Rouge
a
couple weeks ago, and then all of last week was the fallout, and then her taking the job, and yeah, here we are.
All right, so here's some notes. First time since the conference started, 1996, the Big 12 did not have a single player drafted in the first round.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to get Creed Humphrey from Oklahoma might be the first Big 12 player that goes.
SEC had 12. Big 10 had 7. The ACC had 6. Pac-12, 3. AAC, that's the Athletic Conference, American, 2. Brigham Young had 1, and North Dakota State had 1, and Trey Lance.
Well, I mean, if Texas isn't producing first-round picks and Oklahoma's not producing first-round picks, I mean, you know, if we're going to sit there and talk about how they run the conference and they're the top dogs and the Big 12 would be nothing without them, then how about the 2 top dogs producing first-round picks? And I know they have in the past, and Oklahoma's been pretty consistent with that, but I just think, you know, it's a year where a lot of guys who are going to be drafted in the future are all coming back. Like, there's a ton of guys that are coming back. So I think the Big 12 was hit by that. I think also when you look at these stats, and I mean, there's no way to twist it to where you go like, no, the Big 12's fine. I mean, that's a bad look. That's a bad look to not have any first-rounders. But I think it does say if OU and Texas don't have any first-rounders in any particular year, then, yeah, the conference is probably down somewhat. But, you know, and they also compare it to conferences who have 14 schools compared to just the 10. So, you know, that plays into it as well. But, no, not a good look. And I got to tell y'all, man, like, I know we're going to talk about the draft, and maybe I'm alone in this, and this isn't me being negative. I was really excited to watch the draft last night. That was the most boring first round of the NFL draft I've ever watched that I can ever recall. I was bored to death watching that last night.
Once the 49ers made their pick, everything kind of felt like – you know what?
No. Once they drug out the 7 o'clock start time to 7:30 before making the first pick so we could watch bands play and Kings of Leon, and I was like, just get to the first pick.
Yeah, I tweeted out, I love a good Kings of Leon show just as much as the next guy, but not why I tuned in.
There's no longer anything that can happen athletics or sports-wise in professional sports without some band or some pregame concert
show.
Or it's just play the damn game.
You know what's weird? So you were in the arena when Miley Cyrus was playing at the Final Four.
Yes, I was.
So they bring in Miley Cyrus because they're trying to get a demographic that's not watching, but it's not like that's the only time you can see Miley Cyrus. I mean, click on the internet. She's everywhere on the internet. So would you have to see that performance of Miley Cyrus doing covers?
You got people talking.
Like, you have to be a huge, huge fan.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, Kings of Leon. Why are you doing it? You're doing it so that people who may not watch it, like, just tune in for Kings of Leon, then turn it off once they're over.
Do the draft.
Yeah.
Do the draft. Did you watch Miley Cyrus, by the way, when she was performing?
I mean, I was kind of in and out.
I was in the arena. It was a couple of local, Bryce Cherry, Darby Brown. We were in the entrance looking over the arena, and she's out there playing. I forgot she was playing. And then all of a sudden I went out there, and, of course, I heard she was just hammered. Well, not her, but a lot of the
she
people
could have been
trying to do Blondie or whoever it was, and others like that. Okay, Craig, what was and now, hey, we got a lot to get to as well. But so Zach Wilson, hey, Jeff Grimes coached him right up at Brigham Young, number 2 overall to the Jets. I saw him make a note about that, how he goes, I'm not a Jets fan, but good luck. Kyle Pitts went early, right? That got that off the table. Now, the Falcons have Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, Mike Davis, and Hayden Hurst, who's a pretty good tight end. That's a pretty good weaponry for them. The Bears gave up how much to go from 20 to 11?
They gave up a 4th-round pick this year, and, of course, they swapped first-round picks with the Giants.
They got a first-round next year, though.
Yeah, but the Giants picked up a first-round pick next year, so yeah.
That's a pretty good deal.
And I believe a 5th round next year, something like that, yeah.
All right. Craig, did you think the Cowboys got enough when they traded back just a little bit, got a 3rd-round pick for this year?
Not when the trade that occurred right afterwards was way better than what they got. They got a single pick, and then the pick right after that was the 1st-round pick and a 3rd or whatever, and like a whole combination of things. So, yeah.
1st and 4th next year and a 5th this year.
Yeah, and they
still kept their 1.
And that happened after them, and they got a 3rd-round pick.
So that's what Dallas would have.
No,
yeah.
They did not get enough. I mean, how could they? If the team right after them gets a 1, 5, and 4.
Well, the other ones had to come up 20 to 11.
I know, but
still, it seemed like Dallas might have been able to get a little bit more.
Then again, they only.
I mean, could they have gotten a 2nd-round pick? At least a 2nd-round pick?
Yeah,
you know, that's. Yeah, I agree with you, Craig.
Micah Parsons is a tremendous talent. I know Carl Campbell, our good friend in Austin, loves him because he's a Penn State guy. However, that could be news for Leighton Vander Esch because of that 5th-year option. And also, Micah Parsons, he has that Cowboys mustard on him, doesn't he? He's got a little bit of that. He's going to fit in really well.
Then you're going to love today's top 5.
Oh, my God.
You're going to love it.
Did you kind of see? He's got a little bit of that. He's perfect. Even if he turns out to be a hell of a player or not, he's perfect with his personality to fit in to the Cowboys circus.
Yeah, that's like the least of what I pay attention to. But, yeah, he's definitely somebody who will fit in. He'll be a media darling and, say all the right things and get people hyped just like Leighton Vander Esch did and, Sean Lee did. As far as just being excited about a linebacker, I'm sure by the time the season rolls around, he'll be a guy that people are really hopeful for.
Too early for a linebacker who doesn't really rush. He does rush the quarterback. He's not very good in pass coverage.
But see, I've heard different. I heard, the guys on the fan not like him in coverage, but Daniel Jeremiah says he can cover everybody.
All right.
Running backs and tight ends. And
Washington took the kid from Kentucky, and everyone said he's just a workout warrior. He's not really, he's very athletic, and I don't know.
He's a guy that I was completely shocked when they took him because that was way higher than he was expected to go. I thought that there were a lot of name guys that they could have taken there. Or even, done something differently, like traded. They could have gone a different position, but I'm not going to, deny the eye for talent that Ron Rivera has. It's kind of like Carolina picking a defensive player. Maybe they could have gone offense, but you're not going to doubt what Phil Snow can do and what Matt Rule can do with their talent evaluation. So I think if you're a Redskins fan, a Washington football team fan, that you are just trusting the process of Ron Rivera continuing to build that defense. And he's a guy who's got high level of potential because he's so raw, but he's also so athletic, and there's so much that he still has to get better at or could get better at. So if he reaches that potential, that could be like a steal of the 1st round of the draft looking back on it, of where people initially went, to like, I can't believe they had the guts to go and grab him there. What a brilliant move. And that it's going to,
I'd seen some mocks, and again, there were so many of them, but I've seen some mocks that had him in the top 20. So I don't know.
He was a guy that had a lot of athletic potential, but again, was very, very raw. He's barely played any football, but he's very athletic, and you could, there's a lot to work with. So I after looking it over, I was fine with the pick because I'm all for adding to more of that defense.
Well, they didn't need anybody on the defensive line. Of course, you say that. There was a time when the Cowboys didn't need anybody on the offensive line. So, Paul, my question to you, in 254-339-1122, the 903 and Scotty B, thanks for your text. We'll get to those in just a second, questions and comments you may have. With Rashawn Slater available, should they have taken him because they are another Tyron Smith goes down or something happens with Lyle Collins, which I think last year was a fluke? Should they have taken him? And of course, Frederick last year retired, had been in retirement in and out. But should they have taken Slater rather than come down to get Parsons?
I mean, they could have taken Slater.
No, should they? Not could have. Should they?
Yeah, I mean, I think that probably would have been the safer pick to me, just because you don't know what's going on with Tyron Smith. But they really, like, their linebacker issue, like, they may not pick up the fifth-year option on Leighton Vander Esch, which seems unlikely now that they've drafted a linebacker. Jalen Smith is in a prove-it year, and then they can be free and clear from him. So they have one legitimate linebacker in 2 years on the roster, and that's Micah Parsons. So they're in a bit of a danger zone with that position. So it's a little bit more of a need immediately. So that's why I see that they did it. But had they drafted Rashawn Slater, I wouldn't have been mad at it. And they could have drafted him at 10 and not gotten a pick. They still could have drafted him at 12 because he didn't go until the pick right after them.
Yeah, so clearly they didn't want him. I mean, if you have 2 cracks at the guy and you still don't get him, then no, to answer your question, then in their eyes, no. They didn't see the point in drafting Slater. As you said, their linebacking core is very fluid right now and could see the end of the Jalen Smith run here, sooner rather than later. You never know with that guy, how it's going to, ultimately pan out, because the last we've seen was not good. And really hadn't been good for a while now. No. So, you need to address linebacker. I'm fine with the pick. I think the pick is fine, but I think it's also, again, very, very clear of what their intention was. And their intention was to draft one of 2 cornerbacks, and both those cornerbacks got swiped ahead of them.
All right. Kyle Pitts, by the way, made history. Did you know that's the earliest a tight end has been drafted in the common draft since 1967?
Yeah.
I thought maybe
the previous highest one was Vernon Davis. Right?
Vernon Davis was 6th overall in 2006. Kellen Winslow, the second who got himself sideways, was 6th overall to Cleveland in 2004. Hawkinson, number 8 in 2019. Eric Ebron, number 10 in 2014. Mike Ditka was 5th overall in 1961, Hall of Famer. Riley Odoms in 1972 to Denver was a tremendous player. But that is as high as a tight end's been picked since 1972 and 1961.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you think that Denver did not draft Justin Fields or Mac Jones because they are going to try to go all in on Aaron Rodgers?
By the way, I thought that was one of the great things last night, because after all damn day long about Aaron Rodgers, seemed like they kind of got away from that after San Francisco's pick, didn't they?
Yeah, and I watched the NFL Network, and they hardly talked about it at all until they got to the Green Bay's pick.
They didn't fall for the drama. They focused in on the draft for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that maybe the Raiders would do something late in that first round. They were the only other team that seemed to make any logical sense to try and go get him. But then again, after the draft was over, the Packers GM made it very clear they're not trading him. And I know that, management says things, and that just means that, hey, wink, wink, come with the right offer and we will. But I think they kind of have put their foot in the grass or foot down and said, no, we're not trading him. And they'll try and work it out. I mean, would you trade Aaron Rodgers?
No, not without giving me some.
No, I mean, so you better come with it. And I'm not talking just your typical, couple first-round pick. No, we're talking Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know that anybody had a package, put together that's good enough to go and grab him last night, because it was kind of a late-breaking story. Maybe people should have had the intuition to maybe have something ready, prior. But, we learned yesterday that he wanted out, even though there's been hints, but really wants out. And then, after a few hours later, there's the GM no, we're not trading him. So
good for him.
I don't know. I don't think anything's going to happen there.
Either
I think
he retires or
he's going to go host Jeopardy, or he's going to be the Packers quarterback.
Darren Heitner, and we have Dan Lust, who's on. Craig asked me last night, how come I see so much of Joel Corey? He was putting up the years and the contracts and how much is guaranteed and et cetera. And I just kind of was interested to be. Darren Heitner was doing this with those agencies who represented those players being picked. Athletes First and Creative Artist Agency each had 5 clients selected, 66% of the top 15 picks in the draft. One of those, Paul, is Rock Nation. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yeah.
So that's interesting that they were dominating what was going on there. Now, one note, I just got this. Kyle Robarts sent this about Bill Brock, Baylor's longtime assistant coach. The Step Up Inc., founded by the Allen family, announced a Step Up Assistant Coaches Hall of Fame class of 2020. How about this? Bill Brock of Baylor's a part of that list. Bill Guthridge, who passed away, the former assistant coach, longtime assistant coach at North Carolina, who also was the head coach when Dean Smith retired for a little bit. That's Jolette Law from South Carolina is somebody that Carolyn Peck brought up yesterday as somebody that maybe Mack Rhodes should at least look at. But how about that? Bill Brock named to the a step-up Hall of Fame class of 2020 for assistant coaches and at various levels, whether the NBA or college basketball. Pete Lamb, go ahead.
No, I mean, good for him. That's great. You know, that former staff slash current staff slash potentially future staff. Also, obviously, Mulkey, former coach, going to the Hall of Fame this summer. Bill Brock, current assistant, being a Hall of Famer as well. So congratulations to him.
Pete Lammons. A lot of you guys may not remember him. He was a part of the Super Bowl team, Super Bowl III with Namath, Matt Snell, Joe Namath, etc. He died. He was at a fishing tournament at Toledo Bend. He drowned on Thursday. He was 77 years old. He's a former UT grade. He was a part of the 1963 National Championship team. I knew of him. I interviewed him a couple of times. He was from Jacksonville High School. So Pete Lammons, born in Crockett, Texas, went to Jacksonville High, and he passed away, unfortunately, in a horrible accident, I guess, drowned in that fishing tournament. Now, from the text line real quickly, from Scotty B., the question is, what will the Cowboys do for a second or third round? In terms of picks, my guess, would they try to get the safety, corner, available offensive lineman? They have 4 picks, Paul.
Well, they've got the 10th pick in both.
They have to come out tonight with a corner,
rounds,
right?
Yeah, they got to come out tonight with a corner, I would think, just for, warm bodies at that position's sake. Defensive tackle is somewhere you got to watch them go, too, because they need help inside. Offensive line, I think that third round pick might be for that offensive lineman, that swing tackle that they have had such a hard time, finding here in the last few years. So, I think you'll see a combination of defensive tackle, corner safety, and swing tackle tonight.
I don't know about what all they take. I mean, a couple of what Paul just said, but I definitely would expect them to take a corner tonight. I mean, that was, again, very clear last night. There's not a whole lot of questions coming out of the Cowboys draft last night. They wanted 2 corners, and both those guys got picked. They kind of went, all right, Micah Parsons. And that was a need, and they addressed it. So, I mean, it worked out okay in the end. But, yeah, if they don't draft a corner tonight after what happened last night, I would be shocked. And that would really be a concern, because then you went from a major need to now the best you would draft is like a 4th rounder or later. So I can't see them not picking a corner tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. I might be reading too much into things.
Or safety, like you said.
The Cowboys draft room wasn't as the cat that ate the canary as it usually is. Yeah. But that might be fool's gold. I just compare it to the first 7 picks went exactly as everyone wanted to. Mm-hmm. And so, like you saw, like the Lions, when they got Penei Sewell, they were like, they were hugging each other and then dancing around. And, the Bengals went nuts for Jamar Chase. And to me, though, that you got to kind of follow the cool, like, hey, we're happy. But, come prove it, kid.
I think that's become almost like reality TV. Yeah. And they almost like, hey, it's like a coach on National Signing Day. Who has ever said, man, this class sucks. We lost out on this guy. We lost out on this guy. All of them say they signed who they wanted to sign. But the Cowboys probably started to me, the reality TV that no matter what, act like you're happy.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think they acted like they were all that happy last night. But the Lions, that was genuine, man. They didn't think they were going to get Penei Sewell. Like, that, there was no chance they were going to get him where they were. And to get him, I think that was pure 100% genuine emotion. Now, some of the others may have been, laying it on a little thick, but I think for Detroit, that was exactly what they wanted to happen, and that's what you saw was like a genuine, like, oh my God, I can't believe we actually, like, this worked out for us.
And I do know one thing about Matt Rule and staff. They clearly knew who they wanted because there all that speculation about maybe Sam Darnold, maybe they're going to do this. They let that twist in the wind. That was pretty brilliant because they could have gotten, the Bears could have made that same deal with them to get up in there to get Justin Fields. But as soon as Sewell went off the board, it was like, J.C. Horn, go get him.
And that's when you realize Dallas may not get who they wanted. Gonzaga picked up receiver. You got anything else to say?
Yeah, on this, because then Surtain went right after that. Yeah. So, Matt Rule basically screwed the Cowboys in a way, if you look at it that way, because he took one of their 2 top targets off the board, forced the Broncos into doing the exact same thing because they wanted a corner. And then you had Philly trading with Dallas right after that. So, I mean, again, it's clear as day what happened. The two guys they wanted went the 2 picks before them, and it flustered them enough to trading within their own division so that Devontae Smith can now be a Philadelphia Eagle.
And if he comes back to haunt them?
Yeah, but, and Rule said afterward, I listened to his draft call. He's what I tell you the other night. Like, he told J.C. Horn that they were gonna grab him. It's very similar to the call that he had last year with the big defensive lineman, Matos, that they picked up, Gross Matos, that they grabbed. So, yeah, it's totally Matt Rule. I mean, you know how he is. He's very cross the T's, dot the I's, and they seem to be a very well-prepared staff when it comes to the draft. And I think you saw that last night with how that fell in their lap and how quickly they took advantage.
Gonzaga picks up Rasir Bolton from Iowa State, committed to the Zags, ranked number 10 on the Athletic.com's best available transfers players. He averaged 15 points a game, so yet another loss for Iowa State as they've been kind of in this transition, and the Zags pick up yet another player.
That sounds to me like Craig's story yesterday about Conor McGregor making $650 million. Your Conor McGregor doesn't need $650 million. I mean, good for him for getting it. Gonzaga doesn't need Rasir Bolton, but Iowa State is in a total rebuild right now, and I don't blame Rasir Bolton for wanting to go and play somewhere where he can win right now.
Well, I'll tell you this. My first reaction to – what did you say? Go back to that tweet. Can you go back to that tweet?
I don't know if I still have it.
Well, you
there.
said something about him being number something on some list.
Number 10 on the Athletic.com's list, yeah.
I predict that pretty soon we'll see the recruiting outlets start having like star rankings for transfer players, and then I'm just going to jump off a bridge.
Yeah,
because,
you're probably right.
List of ranked transfer players, and we're going to start throwing stars on their names now. Like, would that surprise y'all in any way?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
And I would just not like that at all.
Kansas, we got a break here. 326, 254-339-1122. Kansas has hired Lance Leopold, the head coach at Buffalo. Deal is done. That was reported earlier today by multiple those who covered the national scene for college football. Monken was involved from Army.
I know a lot of Texas high school football coaches.
Who's the guy from Louisiana Tech? Who's the coach at Louisiana Tech?
Skip Holtz.
Skip Holtz, name was up there, but he's the one that gets the job.
I know a lot of Texas high school football coaches were pushing for Emmett Jones to at least get a crack at the job. Like, why not? Like, I mean, what Kansas needs a guy who's like super experienced and all. No, they just need a dude who believes in that program. And, you know, I've thought that the coverage of the LSU story, let's call it what it is, scandal, has kind of paled in comparison to the way Baylor was covered by all the same people. But I did seek out just to see how much of a disparity there was. And there is a disparity in how it's been covered. But I did listen to a podcast last night. It was that I never listened to college football podcasts, hardly ever. But it was Feldman and Mandel. Feldman, of course, wrote a book on Ed Orgeron here in the last year, and they've said stuff on their podcast. And listened to them last night. They have not gone nearly as hard on LSU as they have on Baylor. They still talked about it, and that led them to talking about Kansas and Les Miles and all that stuff. And they were kind of the opinion of Kansas just needs to try something different, not try to get like, you know, the Les Miles or the whatever. So Lance Leopold, he kind of fits that. Like, he's experienced, but he's well known, but he's not too well known. And I think that, you know, maybe this guy works, but they can't fumble the bag like they did with David Beatty. And because I think Beatty was kind of starting to do a little something, like there was at least something to hold on to, that they were like a seed was growing, and then they totally ruined that and tried to sue him and all that, the whole lawsuit thing happened. So, yeah, that Kansas job was interesting. I don't know, you know, how many people were really involved, but Leopold's an interesting choice.
All right, when we come back to text messages, calls at 254-339-1122. Also, an interesting note, I saw this from John Jacobs, Baylor assistant coach, on NBA front offices, and part of that, Scott Drew, you heard about the coaching tree, now that front office tree as well. Paul Catalina, David Smoke. Paul Catalina, David Smoke. Craig Smoke. Armstrong Sims is here in studio today. Our first guest will be Grayson in about 20 minutes or so on recruiting and his comparisons of Butler to Akinjo, plus much more. Sic'Em365 Radio.
22-year anniversary sales event continues on now at Richard Carr with big anniversary savings on all new pre-owned cars or trucks on the lot. That includes Superior Ride, makes the Enclave second to none. You got 3 big rows of first-class seating. You got power, you got technology, you got safety. It's all good. And you can save $8,500 right now on a Buick Enclave. Also got the Power and luxury combined into the GMC Sierra model. That truck, which is second to none right now, can be had for $8,000 less than normal. That's right. You can save $8,000 on 2021 GMC Sierras. You can also save $7,000 on 2021 GMC Acadias. You can save $6,750 on 2021 GMC Terrains. And these are just some of the deals of the new and pre-owns going on right now at Richard Car Motors. And not only when you hop on over to the dealership and potentially purchase a new or pre-owned vehicle do you get that new ride, but you will also ensure that you get great customer service. Richard Car Motors, your local family dealer. They're proud Baylor Bears. They want to earn your business. They have great prices. They've got free oil changes with a new purchase and priority warranty service on all vehicles purchased. So stop by their clean and disinfected showroom and take a test drive, or you can give them a ring and they can bring the test drive to you. It's the big 22-year anniversary sales event going on now at Richard Car, and Richard Car Motors says Sic'Em Bears, congratulations to the national champion Baylor men's basketball team.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
Pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has protected fellow Texans with auto, home, health, and life insurance since 1952. With more than 260,000 square miles of land and 27 million people, that's a lot to cover. Whether you're wrangling cattle or wrangling kids, we're proud to protect Texans in all Texan ways of life.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
It's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobbettes, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasoning, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to Sic'Em365 Radio.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
All right, here we go. 334, Sic'Em365 Radio. Here's an interesting quote. Earlier, as he's going through his press conference today, Micah Parsons, Penn State linebacker, asked about character allegations, skipping out the opt-out, and also some other things he was involved with, hazing, whatever. Micah Parsons says that they were dropped allegations. Not sure my man right here, Jerry, would invest in me if I wasn't someone he could trust.
Well, Micah doesn't know Jerry very well yet.
Jerry, the Cowboys, they only sign squeaky clean players throughout their history.
Yeah, I'll tell you, but to their credit for the most part, here's one of the things that Jason Garrett does not get enough credit for. And after Greg Hardy, I think he was able to kind of impose his will. He always said, we want the right kind of guys and the right kind of guys. And then they went and got Greg Hardy, who ripped a locker room that loved each other apart.
Yep.
I mean, just ripped it apart. Everybody hated Greg Hardy, couldn't believe he was in the building. And look, they've had guys that were smaller problems, David Irving, smaller problem, but I mean, not even close to Greg Hardy kind of piece of human garbage. But Jerry, for a while, was getting the right kind of guys. They didn't have too many of those problems. So,
yeah, and everybody has their skeletons in their closet or whatever. He didn't kill someone. I don't know all the details of the hazing incident. I think I read about it, but it was a really long time ago, and I didn't refresh my memory when that pick was made. So, they did their due diligence, I'm sure. I'm not, too concerned about it. But, yeah, that's kind of a funny quote, because if any organization other than the Raiders was going to take a chance on a guy who's got maybe some troubles, it would be the Dallas Cowboys, and there's no denying that.
I guarantee
given their history.
I know we know everybody in that room, and I guarantee they all looked at it like, what? Okay.
Well, I mean, if anyone's being honest, it was covering it. They would have said what I said. Like what? 254-339-1122, Sic'Em365 Radio. Baylor signing Jeremy Sochan today at 5. Also today we will have Grayson on momentarily. We have an analytics writer, NFL, like all the bells and whistles, who covers the prospects at 4:20. Mickey joins us in an hour at 4:45, and much more to get to today on Sic'Em365 Radio.
Steven from Virginia, you're on Sic'Em365 Radio.
Hey, guys, I wanted to say something on behalf of Paul. I know he probably wants to say this. I don't know if he can or not. But are we just going to let Tim Tebow do whatever he wants? I mean, this man sat here and told us he could play Major League Baseball and couldn't hit a baseball worth anything. And, we aren't that far removed from that. And now he's asking Urban Meyer to try out at tight end for the Jaguars. I'd like to try out for the Jaguars, too. So if we just handing these out, I'll take one, too. Later, guys.
Thank you, Stephen. I just think, this is a Hall of Fame person. He's so good. He can come back 7-8 years after he retired.
9.
You've counted the years.
It's 2012.
He can play pro baseball. He can play football at 2 different eras.
Super media guy.
Incredible young man. Armstrong.
I love him. And of course, Paul knows the exact years. I mean, he's missed him.
Yeah.
He counts the days on his wall.
When he retired, was there a tear?
Maybe of joy.
Well, he just, Urban Meyer just bought a house next to Tim Tebow for $2.2 million. So Tebow was living good off that baseball money, apparently. But, yeah, they're now neighbors, and I guess they're going to be a part of the same organization.
I mean, because he says a prayer before he goes out in the field. Obviously, he's a good athlete. Obviously,
he won a Heisman. He could have won 2.
He was a national title. He had a great couple of years in college. I don't look, and he ran roughshod over who I love in college, but that's fine. My problem with Tim Tebow was not then; it was afterwards, where he got a pass for being a mediocre athlete just because he loves Jesus. So does a lot of people. I mean, why are we giving him a pass? This is a zero-sum game in sports. You're good or you're not in the pro sports, and That's what annoyed me about it was like, oh, well, he can be okay because he seems like he's nice. There's a lot of nice guys in sports. There's a lot.
It is amazing how he was able to, all by himself, cover up the number of convicts on the Florida football team at the time. Like, it's like all we saw was Tim Tebow. Don't look for Aaron Hernandez and the Pouncey twins and, like, you know, like countless others from that Florida run that they had. But, no, I mean, I've always been somebody who I definitely got real tired of the Tebow talk when ESPN was really at their worst with that, when it was just like all the time. And you would have thought that this was Walter Payton and like Barry Sanders and Joe Montana and Tom Brady all rolled into one the way they used to talk about him. I mean, it was ridiculous, the amount of just love fest that they had for that guy. So I could understand why it's nothing against him personally. It was just like he was shoved down our throats for like 3 years. And then we had to have the baseball stuff shoved down our throats and his time in the NFL shoved down our throats. And, you know, obviously he brings eyeballs. I mean, I don't know why else he was so interesting to talk about. And he was no different than other guys who have won national championships at quarterback. Wasn't better than most of them, quite frankly, that won national champions at quarterback all around him. So, yeah, I don't know about him being a tight end right now in the NFL. I mean, how old is he at this point? He's 34?
Well, here's the thing. I don't know how old he is, but Armstrong, isn't it amazing he can still play it at the level that he plays, that he has that kind of confidence and the interest from Jacksonville?
It's almost superhuman.
It is.
Yeah.
It's almost as if he could be Jim Thorpe, Jesse Owens, Bo Jackson, Dion.
I think he's definitely on the level with Bo Jackson.
Are you okay? Can we?
Now you just crossed the line. You crossed the line.
We lose you for the rest of the day?
Yeah. Look, I'm sure, I don't know if he's a nice guy or not. I've always kind of felt he's a bit of a phony. I also don't think he's very good on television. I think he says dumb things and he wraps it up in a rah-rah talk. And so people are like, oh my God, he's fired up. And then if you listen to the actual words that come out of his mouth, it's like, you know, do you write in crayon, dude? What's going on?
No, I'm with Paul on this. I think he's
a terrible analyst. He's awful.
I just think he's kind of a cheeseball. Yeah. I really do. I think he's kind of a cheeseball. But I don't hate him at all. I don't really dislike him at all. I just find the coverage of him and Paul's reaction to him kind of funny.
When we come back,
I'd rather have Maroon 5 play here right now than see Tim Tebow.
What?
I'll tell you right now. Yes.
What about that country singer?
Oh, Rascal Flatts. No, they have Tim Tebow. Kenny Chesney.
Single guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, they can all sink in the same damn boat.
All right. So, not a good day to bring that up when I mentioned what happened. When we come back, Grayson Grundhoefer, recruiting analyst, Sic'Em365 Radio.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine, a place I'm happy to go to on the way home just to get over all this. The customer service there is second to none. I talk about it all the time. I can tell you about their great selection of craft beers, which is rotated through all the time. I can talk about their selection of wine and spirits and all that. But I'll tell you, when you go in there and you're looking for something and you get all confused and turned around, you say, hey, where's this? And they'll say, hey, take 2 steps, look to the left, 3rd shelf, 3rd one over from the right. Boom, it's there. Unbelievable. The drive-through window is super fast as well. If you drove up and there were 4 cars, 5 cars in it, don't worry, you're not going to be waiting long. They've got speed. They've got accuracy. They know what they're doing there. Riverman Liquor and Wine, a hidden gem in Waco, Lakeshore Drive at North 19th Street. Find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
1, 2. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. He keeps me coming back. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy, last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
And Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs. Even offering financing if that's needed, everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Car has the trucks, man. They have the one for you. Crew cab, short or long bed, silver, black or blue. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, he has the truck for you. Carr has the trucks, man. He has the truck you need. If you want the best truck, you want a GMC. Texas size selection, great prices too. Richard Carr, they have the truck for you.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Welcome back to Sic'Em365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with Grayson Grundhoefer of Sic'Em365.com. Brought to you by Pioneer Steel and Pipe, where customer service is their main focus, and best in metal, steel, and pipe for large or small projects, with 2 locations in Waco and Bryan. Family owned and operated since 1943.
There is a note in the premium section. It's been up a while. So I'll give you a couple of thoughts about that at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. That's Brian Etheridge, who's been really invested a lot of time in this. Former Baylor star Brian Skinner, his daughter was on the volleyball national championship team at Kentucky. Mickey in 45 minutes an hour on the draft of the Cowboys is round 2 and 3 tonight. Jeremy Sochan, great stuff from him. I called him, Paul, how... I know we got Grayson. I'm not going to waste time with him because we have so much to get to.
9 or 10.
It took me forever to get through the code, to get outside the United States into where he is in London. And then Paul's top 5 at 5:55. Now, Grayson Grundhoefer, Sic'Em365.com, and our recruiting analyst and director and coordinator. I want to get to eventually. Don't let me forget to ask you about comparing a Kinjo to Jared Butler. But, Grayson, let's start spring game. We've kind of digested that. You've done it as well. You had a chance to speak to some of the, I guess, recruits, prospects, whatever. What was the reaction overall?
Yeah, I think most of the recruits, and I don't even want to say most, pretty much all of them were really, really excited to just get on a campus again. It's been a long time, frankly. I mean, with the whole shutdown with COVID, it made things really difficult for kids to, go to games and get to see an environment like they got to see Saturday. So, a lot of positive reactions. I would say the defensive guys were extremely pumped up. I mean, defensive linemen were watching Garmin Randolph and Apu Aika just go out there and dominate on the defensive line. So they were really impressed with that. The offensive players, a couple of them mentioned how happy they were about the concept that they were seeing from Jeff Grimes, whether it was the motion or how they were utilizing their wide receivers as far as what routes they were running. Giving the ball to the running back. So there were a lot of positives on the offensive side, despite the lack of production. So overall, good environment, a lot of positive vibes, and a good start for Baylor in the 2023 class, and then continuing momentum in 2022. I mean, I think 6 of the commits were on campus as well. So a lot of good stuff for this Baylor recruiting staff.
Grayson, do you think that maybe there wasn't as much consternation about the offense for, one, it's Jeff Grimes and Eric Mateos and all those guys. This is their first year running it. They've got to put in a system. Plus, the guys who are coming in are going to play more than likely with Blake Shapen or Kyron Drones and not anybody else. So they're not really worried about what they saw past that.
Yeah, I think it's more having to do with the Jeff Grimes and Eric Mateos being this their first year. And I think they've been preaching that to recruits as well. And you also have to remember a lot of these recruits will be basically the first recruits Jeff Grimes and Eric Mateos specifically recruit. So I think that's also a big deal too, because players always look at that. They want to know that they're going to fit in the offense because they're being recruited for that offense. So yeah, I don't think there's too much concern. Now, if you go into the season and don't play well or don't play like you did in the spring game, then there will be a problem. But I don't anticipate that happening. I think they'll be just fine on offense, especially when they're not going up against the top 15 defense every day.
So, Grayson, football practices are obviously over for the time being. What's next on the recruiting calendar? What's the next set of events or camps or just opportunities for this staff to continue building these classes up? What's that kind of look like moving forward?
Yeah, so you know what, guys? I'm kind of waiting for Baylor to come out with their camp schedule. I would be shocked if they don't have camps. Most schools have already released their camp dates, and Baylor really, at least under Matt Rule, they really took advantage of those recruiting camps in the summer. They'd have 6 or 7 of them and get a bunch of recruits on campus, allow them to see campus while also being able to get official testing times and measurements. So I'm really waiting for that, and that will come in June as far as the actual dates, but the schedule should come out sometime really soon. Obviously, also in June, you have official visits that are coming up. June 18th and June 25th are the 2 dates on the books right now. I'm expecting a junior day for the 2023 recruits to also be released sometime hopefully soon. I think players should be getting invites to that. Don't have a specific date on that yet, but those are always a really big deal, getting out ahead of incoming juniors. So those are the big things coming up. There'll be camps sprinkled in there that are national camps, but those are the main things that are Baylor specific going on right now.
We had, as you know, and you were all over it as well, when Zach Pyron committed to Baylor, the young man from Alabama. What have you had a chance to visit with him? I was curious. I was looking up and down his Twitter feed, but I don't like stalking on something like that. Have you had a chance to visit with him about whether he saw anything when it comes to the spring game and what he liked about it?
I haven't gotten to talk to him much quite yet. That's definitely on my list of things because he wasn't at the game. I talked to more of the recruits that were actually, in attendance, and he let me know he wasn't able to come. I'm sure he watched it, and I know his parents actually were tweeting. I posted an interview with Kyler Jordan, the linebacker out of defensive end Lubbock Cooper, and he and Zach, I think, are becoming pretty good friends because both of his parents were commenting on that interview. So I think they definitely watched. I'll be sure to reach out with them this week, and I'll let y'all know if you want to ask me about it next week. But yeah, I'm sure he has some great thoughts on what he was able to see from Jeff Grimes and company on Saturday.
No, we expect you to have 1,900 different players that you've talked to since the spring game. No, that's good to know because it's interesting because that might be an inkling of what they're going to do offensively with whoever the quarterback's going to be. Paul?
Grayson, basketball now. We have Jeremy Sochan today, which is pretty interesting about him coming early and the way that's changed. What are your thoughts on James Akinjo and how he fits?
Yeah, I have great thoughts on James Akinjo because I think he fits perfectly with what Baylor needed. This upcoming season, he's a very good scorer. He hasn't averaged less than 13.5 points per game since he became a college athlete, first at Georgetown and then, of course, at Arizona last year. So you're getting proven production. You're getting a proven three-point shooter. He shoots, I think for a career, he's at 37%, but last year he shot near 41% from three. So very good shooter. And you also look at what he can do passing the ball. And last year he had 5 assists per game, which is very comparable to what Davion Mitchell did this past year. So I think he's going to be utilized as the primary ball handler. kind of like Davion was this year, where Jared Butler was playing off ball, which I anticipate will be Adam Flagler this upcoming year. So I think he fits really well in that regard. The one area that I really want to see him take a step up, and it really is going to come down to, was he not very productive inside the arc because he was taking really tough shots due to his team not being great? Or is it something that he really needs to work on, finishing in the lane and shooting pull-up mid-range jump shots? But if that 2-point percentage comes up a little bit, he's going to be a very good player. I think he'll probably average about 15 a game and maybe 5 assists a game, which if he's doing that, Baylor's going to be in great shape at the point guard position.
Grayson, how much do prospects talk about the NFL draft? Last night, no players from the Big 12. Baylor's going to maybe have William Bradley-King get drafted, probably tomorrow, I would think, sometime, if he gets drafted at all. But, how much does the success of guys going off to the NFL get brought up when you're talking to recruits?
It's interesting because I think it would get brought up a lot more if Baylor's head coach wasn't Dave Aranda. And I think a lot of the players understand what Dave Aranda has done in his career as far as getting guys to the NFL, specifically defensive guys, of course. And so I think that registers really, really well with prospects. And they're still, feeding off of that, even though he's been at Baylor for a year now. They understand the kind of players that he's put in the league. When you see Devin White and what he's doing with Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if you're a linebacker recruit, you can't help but, be really excited about it. So he's got many other guys like that, but I don't think it's been a huge talking point recently. But I will say, as recruitments get close to the end, that is definitely something that is brought up negatively and positively. And for Baylor, it's much more effective on the defensive end because of what Aranda has done in his past. But I think with Jeff Grimes as the offensive coordinator, I think you're able to sell quite a bit, whether it's with Zach Wilson or the running back that they had at BYU as well last year, and on the offensive line. So I think that's starting to turn the corner, but you still have to produce NFL players to really sell it, especially at Baylor.
All right, Grayson, you mentioned, Paul asked you about James Akinjo. You put up a comparison of Akinjo to Jared Butler, and we know what Jared Butler is, and it's 99% sure he's moving on to the professional level. Some of it might be the NBA, or if not the NBA, Europe, the professional league in Europe, and health type clearance and stuff like that. But I looked at your comparison. Wow. You kind of have him almost as not, I don't know if you have him as the same player, but Jared slightly overall better. But you mentioned to Paul, but you kind of think this is a pretty good guy come walk in, maybe be Jared Butler in a way.
Yeah, see, I think he's kind of a mixture, a little bit of Jared and Davion. He's not the defender that Davion is. He's not there yet. But I do think his individual defense, if you just rolled the ball out, I think he's probably a better individual defender than Jared Butler. But the thing that Jared did extremely well, especially this year, was his team defense. His ability to create steals, create turnovers was really game-changing for this Baylor team, the improvement that he made in 1 year. So I need to see if Akinjo can do that from a team perspective. But one-on-one, I'm pretty confident in what he can do. He's also a little bit smaller than Jared. Jared's about 6'3", 6'4", with the 6'4" wingspan. Akinjo's probably, favorably, you say 6'1". So a little bit shorter in that regard. But I will say there are some things that he's going to do that are going to remind people of Jared. He gets in the lane really well. You're going to see him shooting floaters, much like Butler did throughout his career at Baylor. He's not afraid to shoot threes. He does not have the range that Jared does. Jared will pull up from NBA range, and you feel pretty good about going in. James isn't going to do that, but James will show you more step-back stuff, more handling the ball and creating and getting to his spot on the court, a better mid-range shooter as well. So there's a lot of things he does really well, and he's a very good player. Like I said, he's not Jared, but I do think production-wise he can make up for it in other ways. And I think, if he can take care of the basketball and find guys and get guys involved, he could have a similar impact without maybe being, the high-end 17-point-per-game scorer that Jared was this past season.
Thank you, Grayson. As always, great stuff. And spent time, of course, here at the studio, the spring game and whatever else. The podcast, the Bearcast on Tuesdays with Craig. I put this up. I put a note up on this, and thanks for your time, Grayson. That 1 hour plus show that ran today instead of up-tempo because there was some maintenance in the studio that scheduled. It's disgustingly thorough with great, and I mean disgustingly unbelievable. Can I use that word, disgustingly? That's kind of the negative word.
It's kind of negates what you just said.
Let me put it this way. It's incredibly good.
There we go. That's better.
It's incredibly good. It's thick. It's good. It's massive. It's thorough. It talks about everything. And I sat there and listened to it one night while I was working on a couple of things, as I mentioned, but I wanted to mention that again with Grayson and Craig. They put it up on Tuesday. It runs 2 to 3 in that area after up-tempo before what we do today and each day at 3 o'clock. All right, when we come back, we're going to hear from one of the great names in Baylor men's basketball, Brian Skinner, national championship alum, and his daughter, unbelievable, won the national championship at Kentucky in volleyball. He was at the parade. Then he goes to watch his daughter do what she did. He's coaching young kids. We'll get back with Brian Skinner in a little bit on Sic'Em365 Radio. IdealMRI.com, IdealMRI.com. You see their logo behind us on the screen, the image of what they are. Every scan they perform, state-of-the-art technology, a machine, and read by a board-certified expert. They want you to be comfortable. They want you to be convenient because an MRI for some, including a couple of times in my life when I've had an MRI, can be a little bit, just the spacing and your face, and it's covered, and it's like, where is everybody? Because I'm claustrophobic. And so it can be that way. I went there last March, I'm telling you, and I'll never stop telling you how comfortable they made it. I don't know, maybe they just made me feel comfortable, so then getting into that tube or whatever you want to call it, their state-of-the-art machine, it wasn't that big of a deal. And it's because they are amazing at what they do. Not to mention, the cost is fixed at $497 or less, transparent, affordable. And the health care they can help provide for you and also help you with insurance. But the bottom line is if you have something that hurts, muscle, ligament, whatever, that's torturing you in a way where you can't sleep, function, eat, or whatever else, they can help you. If your doctor wants an MRI done on a part of your body, contact Ideal MRI in the Central Texas Marketplace, just off I-35. They have all of what you need there. Contact them at IdealMRI.com.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, everyone. This is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like mortgage lending, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwood Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
It's the Jeep Celebration event going on now at Allen Samuels. You'll find special pricing on a new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo with total values up to $3,750 or 0% for 72 months. Also, check out the new 2021 Jeep Cherokee Latitude Plus or Luxe with up to $5,000 in total values or 0% interest for 84 months. Allen Samuels, the best place to find your new Jeep. Located at 201 West Loop 340.
Come by, let's be friends.
See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
Boots add protection. Good boots help you climb better and move forward faster. And when your son or daughter steps into the boots of a U.S. Army officer, they also learn how to lead. In these boots, they'll gain more confidence with expert training in one of more than 150 occupational specialties. In these boots, they'll stand a little taller and lead a team with diverse backgrounds and areas of expertise to successfully accomplish whatever challenge comes next. In these boots, they'll earn respect with valuable experience from day one that will give them solid footing for success into the future. Highly qualified candidates who earn a spot on our team can receive comprehensive health care coverage, college tuition assistance, and a bonus of up to $40,000. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trust the doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Welcome back to Sic'Em365 Radio.
ACO Teague, again the shot clock winding down. Weaving, off glass, he does it again.
The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozer's Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house.
Now here's David Smoke, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoke.
Here we go, 4 o'clock hour. We'll have a couple of segments here in this hour on the NFL Draft. Baylor signee Jeremy Sochan earlier today had a chance to visit with him in England. He's been in Germany and Poland, and also a Baylor signee as well. We're joined by Brian Skinner, former Baylor basketball star from Temple, Texas, still involved in helping young kids with what he does, the Texas Outlaws. We'll get to that in a moment. He joins us on Sic'Em365 Radio. Brian, what a run. Your alma mater wins the national title. Your daughter wins the national title. How cloud nine are you right now?
Well, technically, you got to say plural in daughters.
Oh,
I had
okay.
One that was a senior and one that was a freshman that played together. This was their last year playing together before one graduates and goes on to grad school. But I'm pretty stoked about it. I mean, to be affiliated with, three national title trophies, I'll put it like that. But in total, 2 national titles. It's fantastic. It's a blessing. People don't know how hard it is to actually win one. But be associated with 2, that's phenomenal.
Brian, you clearly, everybody knows you predated Scott Drew here, but I know that you've been around the program. He's always been great about reaching out to the alumni. What did it mean as an alumnus of Baylor and to watch that run that they had this year?
It was phenomenal. I think that's the word that I would have to use. With COVID year and having everyone that was doing COVID tracing and having to sit out a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. This was probably one of the toughest years dealing with a pandemic. But the fact that we were able to prevail and win the whole entire thing and the work that was put into it, but the focus and concentration, that's a feat in itself.
So, Brian, they took pretty good care of Houston in the Final Four, made that look relatively easy. But then there was that, it'd been hyped for an entire year, Baylor and Gonzaga, and we finally got that. What were your thoughts going in on that matchup? And then, obviously, what were your thoughts as you watched them just dismantle, what people thought was the number one team, the team that was going to win it all?
I knew it was going to be a good battle between both of them. They complemented each other in a lot of different things, or pretty even with a lot of different things. Gonzaga proved to be resilient and very persevering over the entire season. Baylor, obviously, we had that long break in between for contact tracing, and they were not able to play. And that cohesion, to peak at the right time during the end part of the season to try to make that run for a national title is huge. The first two games they came back were ugly games. One was a loss. The other one, they persevered and they relied on their defense. Their shots obviously were off, shooting, I think, 3 out of 16 from the arc. But, I think that was a pivotal game of them being able to win that game. They saw that they just weren't obviously top 3 in the nation for scoring. They did have the defense to back it up.
Did you ever think when you left Baylor, and I know that during that time you were fantastic, but the team didn't do very well under the coaches that you played under, did you ever think that this was possible when they hired Scott Drew? Because he did.
I'll say that with God, anything's possible. And the road to get there, I don't think people really understand. I mean, you look at that team, and this previous team right now was men among boys. But the road to get there, the hours that this team put in, the dedication, the sweat, the tears, the anger, the ice, you didn't see that look when someone came off the court that they were upset that they were coming off the court. You didn't see that dive and mentality and aggressiveness. As someone came off, someone came on, and they knew exactly what their job was. They knew exactly what their responsibilities were. And when you can find a special group of young men that can be selfless the way that they were this year, you're going to find a championship ball club.
Brian Skinner, former Baylor star, also longtime NBA player, with us on Sic'Em365 Radio.
Brian, they had unbelievable team chemistry, and it started with just nobody cared about getting the numbers. They just cared about winning that game and what worked that night. As someone who's been around basketball your whole life, how hard is that to create in a locker room?
It's very hard. It's very hard. Like I said, you might have the shadow of a snake, but the extended hand of a comrade. You see that a lot. You see some guys that have that competitiveness of not necessarily wanting to accept their role and wanting to get out of their lane. And it makes it hard. It makes it hard when you have the mentality of, if you're going to get yours, I want to get mine. And this team did not do that. This team was phenomenal. And I'm watching, and like I said, I've watched a lot of basketball in my years. I have not seen a team that was this dominant in a long time. And I know Baylor alumni, but I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible. Scott Drew did a phenomenal, as well as the coaching staff, did a phenomenal job of working with these young men, but the mentality to get them in the right frame of mind of what they needed to do and how to accomplish that goal, that was just phenomenal.
Brian, Matthew Meyer is not going to sign with an agent, but he's going to go through the process. Maceo Teague announced he's turning pro yesterday, and we know Davion Mitchell's turning pro, and I think Jared Butler likely to.
Right.
But what are your thoughts on Davion Mitchell? He's a guy that we didn't hear much NBA draft talk about until, what he did this year, and now he's looking at being potentially a lottery pick. How do you think he fits in on the next level?
Obviously, his speed is it stands out above himself. I think his offensive scoring ability right now is going to be the biggest thing right now. A lot of people have a tendency of making that NCAA run and getting into the tournament and having a phenomenal year. I think one of the biggest things right now is obviously free throws, and this is just what I'm hearing, but from what I'm seeing also as well is free throws, but just how is he going to be able to create off the dribble? It's going to be the biggest thing, because you have a lot of guys that have a lot of star power, a lot of guys that have a lot of quickness, and you start to look at where everything else is. The game has changed to where there's a lot of big guys now that are able to handle the ball, 6'8", 6'9", 7 foot, 7'1", but being able to create that separation on the offensive side. Defensively, he's not going to struggle that much with doing everything else. I think the offensive side, where the game has changed, is you are finding guys that are multidimensional, that they're able to produce on the offensive side as well as the defensive side. So I know his stock has gone up considerably from where it was at the beginning of the season, and he did what he was supposed to do. And he basically was a star throughout the whole entire process of getting to the national title game. So it's just going to be interesting to see how he's going to develop into the player and the things that he has right now, how they're going to make those things grow and shine a little bit better than what they have been in the past right now. But all these guys have the ability. It's just whether or not they're going to be able to adjust, because NBA is a little bit different. It's a quick-paced game, but it's also a slow-paced game. It's very meticulous and very methodical with how you play the game, inside and as well as outside. You're going to have to be well-balanced and well-versed with that, because they will exploit your matchup if you have someone that's smaller or someone that's weaker, offensively or defensively. They will exploit you.
What is more nerve-wracking, the night of the draft when you were picked by the Clippers, a free throw that might win a game, watching your alma mater try to win a national championship, or watching Avery and Maddie in a national championship setting?
As a player, I don't really have that much stress. You know, as a spectator, I think my blood pressure, my heart was about to explode. As a spectator watching my daughters, I know I was getting, they showed me on TV and I was on the phone. It was probably like 200 texts that were coming in, and they're sending pictures of me and they're like, you need to smile. I'm like, I'm not smiling right now. We just lost the first set and I'm trying to figure out that I have zero control in this, but they need to pick it up a little bit. So I think as a spectator, as a player, you really try to block that out. I'm not thinking about anyone else. I'm thinking about what I need to do. And you're so focused on your task at hand. It's hard to have nerves and sit there and wonder. You're in control. And when you're a spectator, you're sort of sitting there and you're having to clap, and it's just up and down, and the motion of the game is completely unstable. And I'm that type of guy that I feel like I want to be in control of something. So a couple of times I've wanted to get up and walk out and just walk around the arena and then come back in and take a peek at it. And I've done that when they played club. But I would have to say definitely watching Baylor try to win a national title game, especially when Gonzaga cut it down to about 9 points. And then in less than 2 minutes, it was up back to 19. But second most was probably my daughters, watching them lose the first set to UT and then winning the second, third, and fourth. That was just bittersweet.
I know it's been a couple of weeks now, but hearing Brian talk about the men winning a national title, it's still just crazy.
God, it feels good.
It's still just crazy. And obviously there was a big celebration, Brian. A lot of former players came into town, and you were among them. I mean, dozens of guys were back. What was that experience like to kind of have the family of Baylor basketball back to celebrate as one?
It was good. You got to see a lot of what I call OGs, a lot of old guys before my time, some guys that graduated in late 60s, and get to see them and just having to watch them support something of a legacy that they built for this institution. It was really good to be able to be back. You know, you get consumed with all the different things that you have on with your immediate family in your life, and sometimes it's good just to sit back and relax and just really enjoy the moments that take your breath away. And these were one of those moments right now. Indirectly, you talk about a building process. Might not have physically had anything to do with the national championship, but to know that my spirit is one of the things that resides at Baylor University. And there were so many people that contributed to just small recruiting class that just egged it on and then just started to build on it. And the boys to be able to do that this year, one of two teams that have won a national title in Texas, as many good teams and great teams that have been here. That's just a memory that's going to last for a lifetime.
You have this Texas Outlaws. You have the foundation helping young men and women, trying to help them have an opportunity to succeed. Your thoughts about, Brian, what this means to you to be involved, you and your wife, to be a part of On Crew?
One Crew I started because I couldn't go fishing every day. I sort of figured that out. I sat at the house and I thought of something I could possibly do. My wife sort of encouraged me on that. I had a really good friend of mine, Matt Berg, that he sort of talked with me a little bit about it and sort of planted the seed. And from that, it just sort of continued to grow. I see a lot of young men and young women that don't have the opportunity to be able to participate in life-changing sports. It's not just about sports, it's about life. And it's not just about life, it's about sports. All these things coexist together. But for me, basketball blessed me with so many different opportunities. And I didn't have all the money in the world. And as we get older and you start to look at society, money doesn't make the world go round, but you need it in order to exist. So being able to give a little bit back of what someone's blessed me with and be able to see these young men and young women be somewhat successful in life and possibly be able to achieve a dream that they never thought they could achieve, I don't think that should be based on the limitations of whether or not they have the financial funds to be able to do that. And so that's something that when we started that, this is honestly year one that we've started this right now. It's been 3 years since I started doing this, and that's kind of what I noticed the first 2 years. And this year is really my first official year trying to do this, but trying to find a way to be able to give back at that sponsorship for young men and young women, trying to find as much gym time. Believe it or not, I'm going to the gym right now with a young man that's sitting here looking at me like I'm crazy right now because he wants to get extra reps in. So it's not anything else. My wife sort of said, hey, we have kids here, and I'm walking around and I have a robe on, and I'm like, yeah, when we said we're going to do this, it wasn't going to be our immediate kids. Like when we did this, we adopted all the kids. This is kind of my extended family.
Brian, thank you, man. There's no question Baylor's got a huge family. Scott Drew, what he's done in his time to bring everybody back at the parade and then to watch your daughters, that's incredible. Thanks for what you do with that foundation. Have a great practice, and thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. You guys have a blessed day.
That's Brian Skinner. Longtime NBA career from Temple High School and also with the Baylor in the late 90s. He sounds like he'd be a great speaker.
Depending on, he's fun to listen to. Depending on, who all ends up sticking in the draft. I mean, I think it's going to be Mitchell and Teague and Butler. Butler still hasn't announced yet, right?
Yeah, I think
it's just assumed.
Yeah, it's just a matter of him getting clearance from the NBA about just his health. Just a couple of things.
Oh, yeah, that's right, the heart issue.
Yeah.
But, if Butler is able to clear those hurdles, then I think we should have him on before the draft to break. I mean, the way he just broke down Davion Mitchell's game and what the NBA looks for and all that, like I loved listening to that, and I'd love to hear his thoughts on, Jared and his thoughts on Maceo and, depending on Matthew Meyer, if he ends up sticking around in the draft, we'd love to hear his thoughts on him as well. So just a thought for later on this summer when the NBA draft rolls around, because that was good stuff.
Yep, it was. He described everything he needs to do or do better. When we come back, we're going to hear from an NFL analytics guy that kind of what he saw, the Cowboys, what they need, what's on the clock, etc., all of that. Sic'Em365 Radio. PettyClinicLowT.com if you want to be the high-performance man that you feel like you used to be, and maybe you're not anymore. As you get older, testosterone levels can change. And 1 out of every 3 men have some sort of symptomatic issues when it comes to low testosterone. It could be your sex drive. It could be ED. It could be your performance. It could be your energy. It could be sleeping. It could be all or just some of that. One of that. And PettyClinicLowT.com can help you out, and this is as simple as this. Go online, PettyClinicLowT.com. There's a phone number. Contact them. Call them and say, hey, David Smoke said something about testosterone, and I maybe need to get my blood checked. Your lab work, your blood levels, your testosterone levels, and Dr. Kent Petty, they'll set up the appointment. He'll get your blood test back. He'll look at the levels of testosterone, and if, in fact, they're too low, they'll get in touch with you for an appointment to help you become, if you want, a part of the program that helps you increase your testosterone levels so you can be the high-performance man that you need to be, so you can sleep better, so you can focus better, so you can feel better across the board at PettyClinicLowT.com.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie K. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
How can we help you? That's a question we ask every day at American Bank. Hi, I'm President and CEO Dana Hassel. Our commitment to our customers is what drives us. It's why we've invested in new branch buildings and technology like ITMs that let you speak to a teller face-to-face from your car. It's why we work with local businesses, helping Waco grow and thrive. And it's why decisions about your accounts and loans are made here in Waco by people who know you. How can we help you? Find out at American Bank, member FDIC.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Welcome back to Sic'Em365 Radio. Are you a Sic'Em365 super fan? Then try out our premium subscriptions at Sic'Em365.com.
So last night I'm watching the draft, and there were certain feeds that were giving us exactly how much a pick at number 4, 8, 12, whatever would get, the contract, the guarantee, and all of that above. And then there's some that were monitoring what agencies were representing. In fact, as I mentioned, 2 agencies represented 67% of the top 15 picks. And then I started following Jim Cobern and what he was putting out, and we've had Jim on before, and he joins us now on Sic'Em365 Radio, breaking down the analytics of those who, in fact, were drafted and those who might be drafted. Jim, thanks for your time. How have you been, sir?
I've been doing great. It's draft time, so this is what you prepare for. This is why you lift all them weights. You do all that stuff. So
it sounds like great time. Sounds like you haven't slept in 3 days.
Yeah. I would agree. Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about some of that, what happened last night, and look at some of those based on what you do, the analytics or whatever, because there's a couple of guys that were looked at as maybe a little bit early, but you have them look like the grades are very high. Everyone knows about Kyle Pitts, but The kid from Tulsa, Xavier Collins, who I just think is a fantastic player. You had him ranked high. He was in the middle of the first round. But Jamin Davis, the kid from Kentucky, there were some that just thought he's a workout warrior. Your thoughts about the upside with him?
Yeah, when it comes to well, first of all, with Collins, I mean, elite production, elite athleticism traits, and has the size profile you're looking for, at least throwback size, being a really big guy. But with Jamin Davis, he scored 90-plus percentile in explosive lower body strength score and 90-plus percentile in terms of speed for his size, and also had really good production at Kentucky on top of all that. He's somebody that, just based on the data, the statistics, has a very high chance to become a long-term starter for them. And in terms of upside, you're looking at a potential Pro Bowl player for them. So I know a lot, he's one guy who only really had one really great season at Kentucky, but when you look at everything on paper, really great shot to be a really phenomenal football player.
Down the list of your first-round picks is Micah Parsons, the Cowboys pick. What dropped him so far down that list for you analytically?
Well, the biggest thing with Parsons is first of all, elite athleticism. Again, he's another guy, great speed score, great flexibility score, has all the testings you're looking for. But production-wise, only scored about a 75 out of 100. And just to give context to that, the linebacker is such a fickle position because the greatest of the greats typically have 90-plus percentile, 80 percentile in terms of that score. Parsons is more so in the lower end. So, again, it's not to say that he's not going to be a successful linebacker for the Cowboys, but it's the difference between a guy like Ray Lewis, who had like a 99 percentile score, and a guy like Brian Cushing, who Parsons could be more so in that vein. Again, a great athlete, incredible athlete, but not somebody who, at least historically speaking, could develop into an elite player. And again, he has that athleticism to develop into that, but his instincts, and I think anybody who watches his film can say that his instincts are exactly all the way there for him.
We saw a bunch of edge rushers go off the board early and then late in the first round. Not a lot of other D linemen, though. Is this just not a good year, I suppose, for that, as far as, I guess, the elite talent and what the numbers say?
Well, yeah. In terms of defensive linemen, there's a lot of nose tackles in this class. And a lot of great testing nose tackles and five techniques, and guys that are like the foundational pieces for their defenses. But if you're talking about guys that are like elite level pass rushers at the defensive tackle position, there's not as many of those guys in this class. So I do believe that there are going to be a couple Pro Bowl defensive tackles in this class. If you look at the defensive tackle out of North Carolina State, if you look at Milton Williams, who's kind of a smaller school guy, which is, again, another thing. He's a small school guy. He's a little undersized, but great athleticism, great production. But, again, they're more the bread and butter type guys in terms of the defensive tackles. Guys that are really going to help mold that defense from the inside, but not necessarily great pass rushers. I think that's the biggest thing this class was missing in terms of that.
We know what analytics, and I say that, but you do more than that, but we know what it's done to baseball. And it's getting more and more in basketball and much more involved in football. How much do you feel like people are starting to pay attention to these numbers like it blew up in baseball?
Well, I think more people are paying attention to it. I mean, I've seen an uptick of it. But I think the biggest thing is that football is just such a more complicated sport than baseball. I mean, again, you have 11 on 11. Baseball is, you hit the ball and then you get on base, second base, third base, and then you're home. So it's a little bit easier to do that. With football, it's a lot more complicated. There's a lot more factors to consider, injury-wise and just everything like that. But at the same time, you will find certain numbers that you're looking for at the position that really help you out in terms of evaluating players. And I think the NFL has done that. I mean, I think the NFL has always used analytics. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys were looking at 40-yard dashes, back in the 60s and the 70s, to draft players. So it's nothing new. It's just that the complexity of it has gotten to the point where people are more interested in it because it's gotten more complex than it was back in the past.
So who tonight do you like early? Who are guys that are maybe slipped out of the first round that you like a lot?
Well, in terms of just for the Dallas Cowboys, I think if you look at what they did on offense over the last 3 years, they were the 8th worst offense at converting touchdowns in the red zone, 4th worst in terms of red zone completion percentage. I think tight end could be a possibility for them. Noah Gray, the tight end out of Duke, has a great speed score, very similar to Kyle Pitts' speed score, actually, and I think he could be a major impact for them in that way. Creed Humphrey, the center out of Oklahoma, I think could also be another nice addition for the Cowboys in terms on the inside. And on defense, so again, I think the Cowboys have definitely had a lot of issues on defense. They've been average at preventing yaks, below average in least amount of missed tackles, second worst in interceptions on defense in the last 3 years. I think a guy like Elijah Molden or Andre Sisco at safety, those would be guys that I would definitely look at. Brandon Stevens at cornerback, Marco Wilson, Nate Hobbs, Paulson Edibo, and then just adding another edge rusher. Joseph Asay from Texas. I know you guys may be familiar with him, being in that at least the Longhorn kind of area. Elite guy, like very, very productive, really great explosion testing, really great speed testing, and I think he could be a great complement to what the Cowboys are doing with DeMarcus Lawrence.
Jim, last night it was pretty clear with the Cowboys. They wanted Surtain or Horn, and then both those guys get picked in front of them, and so they trade down. Yeah. There were a couple other corners that came off the board after that, Greg Newsome and also Eric Stokes. Is there a big disparity from the guys we saw picked at corner last night versus what the rest of the draft still entails?
I actually don't. I disagree. I do think that there is definitely a difference between Horn and Surtain, and fairly to a certain extent. I do think there's a big drop off from there. But if you're talking about guys in the same vein as Greg Newsome, guys in the same vein as Eric Stokes, you get plenty of guys. Like all the guys I just mentioned, Brandon Stevens, Marco Wilson, Nate Hobbs, Paulson Edibo. All of those cornerbacks are guys that have the same level of talent, if not better, especially better than like a guy like Eric Stokes, for example. So I think there's plenty of cornerbacks that are just as talented as the ones that kind of went later in the first last night.
Jim, thank you very much. Good luck tonight, breaking it down. You're the one that kind of pegged Dwayne Haskins, despite the way things look with him, that he could be more Mitch Trubisky than anyone else. And you also, of course, have been on top of it. Thank you very much. Good luck throughout tonight and also into the weekend. Have a great day.
All right, thank you.
Jim Cobern, you can go to it's at Jim Metrics, by the way, and there's just one M in that on Twitter. Most comprehensive football analytics on Twitter. Also, patreon.com/J Cobern, Cobern. By the way, note here from our great friend Scotty B that at Next Hoops reporting, Baylor center Hannah Gusters has entered the transfer portal, asking that schools not contact her, indicating she already knows where she's transferring to. She was the second-ranked center of the class of 2020. Averaged 4.9 points, 10 minutes per game, and probably has tremendous upside. She wasn't much a part of what happened much this year with Nalissa Smith and Queen Egbo and company inside. But that could be, I don't know if that's one of the first that ends up going to LSU or not, or maybe she's going to go back closer to home in the Dallas and Fort Worth area. When we come back, Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com.
Listen, in the past couple of years, we've had a lot of people moving in from out of state to Waco thanks to Chipper and JoJo. And while we welcome these new citizens, they unfortunately brought some of their bad habits with them. Hi, Jay here from Pickup Outfitters, and you know what I'm talking about. Naked trucks. You'd think everyone moved here from McNewtville, but we shouldn't judge them, we should help them. For example, when you see a recent transplant truck from a less civilized state like California, instead of saying, "Your truck is disgusting, your bed is exposed, get a bed cover on that truck, buddy," that's a bit harder. Instead, try something like, in Texas, it's not polite to drive around with your bed exposed. Maybe you should check out the excellent selection of bed covers at Pickup Outfitters. And then if they refuse, you can say, "Well, I hear New Mexico's a nice state." Let's help our new neighbors and let them know that truck nudity is not okay. Let them know about Pickup Outfitters of Waco and send them to our website, createacommotion.com.
The Jeep Celebration event at Allen Samuels has special pricing on the new 2021 Jeep Renegade Latitude with total values up to $5,250 or 0% for 84 months. Or a special deal on a new 2021 Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid Limited with total values of $7,000 or 0% for 72 months. It's the Jeep Celebration event at Allen Samuels, the best place to find your new vehicle. Located at 201 West Loop 340 in Waco.
Come by. Let's be friends.
See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness was built to help give you a chance to enjoy elite tennis facilities and also remain fit or reshape your body. Now Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has gone through its own physical changes. There are 7 large flat screens stretched across the main and improved weight room with Wi-Fi available and their own app to enjoy news, business, weather, or sports channels. The beautiful sound of active treadmills and elliptical machines, group exercise classes throughout each day, a new ballet bar for bar classes, a new look lounge and bar with beer and wine with more large flat screens available. Touchless water fountains outside each spacious men's and women's locker rooms, showers, sauna, and whirlpool. Upgraded PA system throughout the world-class tennis courts and lessons for adults and juniors. I promise you'll look and feel better. You just need to walk through the front door. Also, Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. So start today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
When we moved to Texas, we were like fish out of water. We didn't know anyone in our neighborhood until our Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent came to the house. She was so helpful and reassuring, a friendly face with that Texan hospitality I'd heard about. When we purchased a Texas Farm Bureau insurance policy, we knew we were making the right choice. We knew our family would be protected.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Welcome back to Sic'Em365 Radio.
The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozer's Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house.
You know, Mickey's never right, but we have him on because we love him. He's a friend of ours. And but yesterday, Mickey, DallasCowboys.com, told us that Micah Parsons was going to be the pick. Did he not, Paul Craig?
That's what he likes, and I like Micah Parsons.
Yeah, and now they would love to have also had the chance at Horn or Surtain, but Parsons is the pick at number 12. Is that right? And he was introduced earlier today. Mickey Spagnola giving us a bonus coverage today from DallasCowboys.com. Mickey, that's who you wanted.
See, it's about time people figured out I'm always right.
Yeah, now, honestly, and I know what Jerry said about the board, but if, in fact, either one of Horn or Surtain were available at 10, would they have kept the pick and taken a corner?
You know, I did an interview, and I think I told you that it's like, and they wanted to know who the Cowboys were going to take. Well, I basically told them who I wanted, and then they said, we don't care what you want. We want to know what the Cowboys want. And I gave up, and I said one of the corners. And I don't know. I think they probably would have done that. But you know what? They planned well enough and went over scenarios where both of the guys were gone. Now, what do? You know, and they might have even gone through it with both of the guys are gone, and so is Parsons. What are we going to do? And so, you know, it played out, and they knew what they wanted to do, traded back, a couple spots, had done their reconnaissance, knowing what Philadelphia wanted, and they were figuring that the Giants wanted the same thing. That's why Philadelphia was moving up ahead of them and figured, okay, we can, get a 3rd-round pick for our trouble and still get Micah Parsons. And they were able to do so, and awfully happy about it. And as it turns out, he was their highest-rated defensive player on the board. So again, we get into this draft talk, right? And everybody's like, oh, best player available, right? Well, he was the best defensive player available on their board because he was the number one guy. And they took him, and people still want to criticize the pick. I don't understand it. He came in here today, and he wowed everybody. Came in with his entire family. I think it was 3 brothers, a sister, mom and dad, and his son that's going to turn 3 years old tomorrow. Introduced every one of them. And they asked him, where did you inherit your speed genes from? He goes, well, it certainly wasn't from my father. He was a slow football player, and it wasn't from my mother because she was a slow track person. So it must have came from God, So, but he handled himself so well, and I'm thinking if he only handles himself that well on the football field, the Cowboys would have hit a home run selecting this guy.
Mickey, the Giants made a trade right after them. Of course, they went back down to 20. Is that why they got so much more than the Cowboys, because they went down 8 picks?
Oh, obviously, and I think the Cowboys had that opportunity, and they realized they didn't want to go that far because they knew how much they would be giving up to go back and pick 10 picks later. So that was too far for them to go. It was way too far. I was thinking the furthest if they traded back, they needed to go was 15 if New England felt like they needed to move up to 10 to get a quarterback. And even at that, you better have about 3 or 4 guys available that you'd really want. Well, when the cornerbacks went, I was hesitant about trading back too far and taking a chance that now what do I do? Am I taking a lesser player? But it worked. And again, I heard a weird thing today. Somebody was doing a promo on one of the stations here, and some guy from last night said Micah Parsons was the number 1 linebacker, but the Cowboys didn't need the number 1 linebacker. And I'm going, huh? What? Are you serious? Did I just hear that? Yes, they did. Because as I've been telling you guys, they got 2 linebackers, and that's it. And one of them's not very versatile. So this guy can play all 3 spots, according to McCarthy, and told a pretty funny anecdote that they were, analyzing some defensive ends. They were on the film, and they're looking at this guy's pass rush, and they got done, and they looked at each other, and McCarthy said, you know what? The best pass rusher we looked at today was Micah Parsons as a linebacker. So again, he's so versatile. They can use him in so many different spots. And I think that's kind of the beauty of the draft pick, that he's not just this. He's this, and this. And I think that makes him, awfully versatile and awfully valuable to the football team. And the other thing I like, I mean, it may sound weird. He said, I don't have a quiet personality, but I'm quiet. And it kind of made sense. But he also is kind of edgy from everything I hear. And this team needs an edgy defensive player. I mean, think about it. Who's the bad mother on that team?
Jalen Smith acts like it a lot of times.
Jalen's,
but he ain't.
No, right.
No.
Yeah, there's not really one.
After DeMarcus Lawrence, I mean, where do you go? So they need this. They need an infusion of some Charles Haley on the field on this defense. And I think, when they talked about it, they talked about how they're hoping that his personality rubs off on this football team.
Mickey, I know that in later rounds sometimes we'll see like the Giants and the Cowboys or the Eagles and the Washington swap, 6th, 7th, whatever. But how often have you seen a first-round trade within the division over the years?
I think the Cowboys have done it. I think they did it with Philadelphia. I want to say once before, if I remember correctly. Maybe it was with Washington. Not often, but as Jerry pointed out, he said the value we were getting, kind of superseded doing it with somebody within your division. Because had they not done that, and Philadelphia, had not taken the wide Devontae Smith, right? Mm-hmm. The Giants were going to take him. So one way or another, he was going to end up in the division. So it really didn't matter,
right?
If they had traded or not, because that's where the Giants wanted to go. And then they ended up taking Tony, right? The wide receiver from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Yep.
So, yeah, so that's what they would have done. So one way or another, the Heisman Trophy winner was going to end up in the NFC East.
Do you think
so? You got the Heisman Trophy winner with one pick. You got the Butkus Award winner for the best linebacker with another pick, and that was 2 years ago in 2019.
Mickey, do you think that they'll use all three of those third-round picks tonight, or do you think those might get packaged?
They say they want to use them all. Stephen talked last night at the press conference talking about because of their salary cap constraints, the best way to stock your team is with young players, taking young players and having them make your team because it's cheaper to have a rookie on the team than some veteran. I don't know that they'll consciously say we got to take defense. We got to take defense because if there's an offensive tackle worthy of coming in right away and being the backup swing tackle, they got to grab that guy. That position's been a thorn in their side for 3 or 4 years now. So I could see them doing that. But other than that, a corner, a defensive tackle, a safety. You name it. They need it to help restock that defense.
Mickey, have you ever seen the Cowboys have this many picks between rounds 2 and 3? I know the way the draft is set up is different. Did Jimmy have that many early on when they were trading for?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. So what they're going to end up with, David, like 5 in the top 99, right? And I think after the Herschel Walker trade, combined with when they traded Steve Walsh to the Saints, I think they might have had that many picks in the first 3 rounds. Although they might have moved around, right? Traded some of the picks to move up to take a particular player. But I think they might have, and that was the beauty back then because everybody said, well, they had all those picks. Well, you know what the value of all those picks were? When you missed on 1 or 2, it wasn't glaring like it is if you only have 1, right? Because they had some third-round picks they took in those early years that didn't even make it out of training camp, right? But no one remembers those guys. They just remember the good picks. So he wasn't perfect with all those top 3-round picks that they had.
Yeah, Mickey, if you look back at a lot of Jimmy Johnson's drafts, there's a whole lot of guys you'll be like, who? In the second round, but he had 3 second-round picks. So
right. And you forget about it, right? It's like, okay, no problem, right? Forget about it, because I got Mark Stepnoski in the 3rd round, I got Darryl Johnson in the 2nd round, I got Eric Williams in the 3rd round. Heck, I got Leon Lett in the 7th round. So, yeah, you forget about the ones they miss.
It's kind of like the buffet mentality. Like, if you go to a buffet restaurant, if you eat enough food, some of it's going to be good, and you might forget about the stuff on the buffet that was just total garbage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. and so they got they got some wiggle room today, and we'll see if they use it or if they take four guys. I would imagine that they can trade around. And, I was thinking last night, you guys, that maybe they take a 3rd-round pick and package it with the 2nd to get back into the 1st round. And they said they thought about it, and then they cited, no, the picks are too valuable for us to do that. But, if you're in the 3rd round and you use a 4th-round pick or a 5th-round pick to just move up a couple spots to get a guy that, you absolutely don't want to lose, I could see them doing that. Because 11 draft choices will not make this team. It's just not going to happen. So you might as well, use that draft capital to kind of manipulate the 2nd and 3rd rounds if indeed you need it. I mean, think about last year what they did. They were in the 5th round and they used a 5th-round pick and something to move into the 4th at the end to get Tyler Biadasz. He's going to be their starting center. So I could see them doing stuff like that. They should.
Excuse me. Could you see them having interest? You just mentioned Biadasz, I heard, seems to be the guy. You're right. But what if Creed Humphrey's available, the kid from Oklahoma, the center from Oklahoma? Or is that just like getting somebody that you don't feel like you need?
I would think if they were interested in him, then they would have to think he was versatile, that he could play guard center. Because you always need one of those guys that can be, the either-or guy, sort of what Joe Looney has done the last few years. He could back up at center. He could back up at guard. And they haven't re-signed him yet, and I don't know if they're going to. And that's another one of those where you're hoping you get a young guy to take that spot instead of having to pay even the veteran minimum. You're getting up to $800,000, $900,000, almost $1 million if you can get a guy for $500,000 or $600,000. So every thousand counts when you're that tight against the cap. And they do have a guy, Connor McGovern. If he may challenge Connor Williams for the starting guard spot, but if not, they work with him at center, and maybe he can be the center guard backup. But you need somebody like that. So that's where that guy would fit in if he was a multi-positional player.
All right, Mickey Spagnola with us, DallasCowboys.com. What does this mean for Leighton Vander Esch?
I don't think it affects him. To me, it's what does it mean to Jalen Smith? He's the one that he was playing the position, the weak side spot that this guy would play if indeed they only have two on the field. Now at least they can put three guys on the field and play a 4-3 base instead of screwing around with that nickel against two tight end offense, right? I don't know if they're debating on picking up the fifth-year option, which has got to be done by Monday. Because even if you don't pick it up, that doesn't mean he's gone. You can continue to negotiate with a long-term deal, an extension. It's not like the franchise tag. And he could play out the year, and you can do something in the offseason if indeed he proves that, it stays healthy and is the player he was in his rookie year when he was healthy. But I sort of like the answer Mike McCarthy had yesterday when somebody asked him, what effect does drafting Micah Parsons have on Leighton Vander Esch? And he said, it makes us better. And he didn't mean better, like better than Vander Esch. It means makes our team better because now we got three versatile linebackers that can play, all the spots. So I thought that was a key thing. It's not like they're down on Vander Esch. I think they're just, and you know what they might be doing? I mean, his fifth-year option is $9.1 million. Maybe they're trying to sign him to an extension and lower the cap impact for this year, because those are some of the things they need to do. So if you signed a guy for like a 2 or 3 year extension, and you probably could hear I'm outside now, Jets are coming over. That might be Micah Parsons heading home. I don't know.
Who knows?
But anyway, if you can, sign him to an extension, give him a signing bonus and spread it out over, 2 or 3 years, then that $9 million cap impact, comes down. So maybe they're waiting to the last minute to see if they can squeeze out a deal like that with him.
All right. Anything else, guys? Mickey, thank you for the extra coverage. And
sure.
You nailed it. Thanks for your time. Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com with us. Normally Thursdays, and he was yesterday on with us on the draft before round 1 and now before rounds 2 and 3 tonight. To me, this is the draft. I know that if you hit a 5th-round pick, and of course the Tom Brady thing's insane or others, but tonight, to me, this is when you win.
The drafts that I listed yesterday that were good for the Cowboys, the reason I picked those is that it wasn't just that they found Bob Hayes in the 7th round. I mean, he was the fastest man alive. That was just Gil Brandt being Gil Brandt. But it is the ones where, Robert Jones in the 2nd round, the guy, he played linebacker for them for 5-6 years.
Yep.
And then the guys who are the meat of your team that aren't necessarily the stars for 5, 6, 7 years, maybe even a decade, they may not be stars, but if you have a starter for 5 years in the NFL that you don't have to change, that's pretty dang good.
Yeah, no question about it. Thanks to Mickey. Appreciate that. Coming up next, Jeremy Sochan. Spoke with him earlier today. He's in England. We'll have that. Here's a couple of notes on the draft. This is from Andrew Brent, who's pretty good at what he does. This offseason, we've had breathless reporting that Deshaun Watson about to be traded before his issues. Russell Wilson about to be traded. Aaron Rodgers about to be traded. As Aaron says, relax. Players can't trade themselves, and while teams lack people skills, they're not stupid. The NBA players basically trade themselves, or they just go do whatever they want, and we saw what happened with Harden and others as well. But that's just a note. Either Aaron Rodgers, to me, plays for Green Bay or he's not playing football. And I don't know what's going to happen there because it seems like there's always something. Also, here's a college basketball note. Imani Bates, the number one recruit in the class of 2022, 6'8", 2021, had committed to Michigan State, has decommitted to Michigan State in an Instagram post. The thoughts are he could be, I don't know what the status would be about the NBA draft.
He can't.
He's going to sit out a year, maybe play somewhere else.
I think he's going to go play in that. He said he's not going to pursue college basketball, which means to me he's going to go G League or he's going to go overseas.
Which he can do, yeah.
That G League program that they have now is like you're going to go and make $250,000 as a 17-year-old kid and not have to go to college and not have to read a book. If I feel like I'm good enough to do that, then I'm probably going to take that deal in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just it depends on the individual and like their backgrounds and their goals and whatnot. I mean, yeah, that cash grab's good, but if you're a guy who's going to probably make that money regardless if you go to the G League or not, I think a year of academics in college basketball is also good as well. So I guess it just kind of depends on the person. I will say one more thing on the Aaron Rodgers and Packers deal. Is it doesn't seem like anything's really changed since last night. I was not surprised that nothing happened, but I was kind of surprised that something didn't happen just because the heat had seemed to be so turned up. But what a middle finger from the Packers to not only not trade him, but then go draft a cornerback with their pick.
Not an offensive guy.
Didn't get a receiver. I mean, I know they've got some weapons already, but I just thought that was the biggest middle finger from Green Bay. Like, no, we're not only not trading you, but we're also not helping you offensively.
And you know what? They let his center walk.
Yeah.
I mean, they let his center walk in the offseason. And unless he and Corey Linsley didn't get along that well, which is usually not the case between quarterbacks and centers.
Yeah, he seems to have a good relationship with his guys.
Yeah, so, I don't know. It's that's going to be weird. That and Deshaun Watson hanging around, like those stories are going to linger until the season starts, really.
Yeah. Who knows what this, I don't know, like if he's still facing all of these accusations, and I don't know, I haven't been paying attention lately on like what are actual charges or what are actual things that are happening. I'd have to, we'd probably need John McClain to kind of keep us abreast on that. But is he allowed to play next? Like, is he going to play next year?
I heard an NFL draft podcast, and I cannot remember who it was, but one of the podcasts they were talking about him, and they said, "Listen, let's say you wanted to trade for him. If you, in fact, wouldn't you get the owner to call Roger Goodell?" And go, hey, what's the deal here? And he may not be able to tell you, but can you give us an idea? We want to trade for him. And he might go, no. So I don't know. I would think he's toxic right now just because of all that's surrounding him.
Yeah.
And,
but I'm saying,
so someone trading for him could be the lottery or they could just be stupid.
But I'm not even talking about somebody trading. Like, if he's still on Houston's roster when the season rolls around.
They're at least going to have to put him on the commissioner's exempt list or whatever.
I think
That's
so.
what I'm saying.
Because, you have no idea. You could – he didn't want to play for them, one. And two, this is going on – it's 22 separate cases and all that. And,
allegedly.
Yeah, but that's 20 cases are filed.
No, you're right.
So if Rusty Harden got rid of 21 of them, he still has one, which is enough for everyone else to get suspended.
No.
So
yeah, he did say, Goodell last night did say that the NFL is investigating him, so that's ongoing. And
they might know more than the attorneys before.
They will by the time it's all done. Yeah, for sure.
Todd Archer in just about 5-8 minutes ago on his Twitter feed as we get ready for round 2 of the draft. A couple of names to consider: Georgia cornerback Tyson Campbell, TCU safety Trevon Moehrig. Is that right?
No, it's Trevor Moehrig Woodard, and he is a absolute beast. And I was surprised that the Ravens didn't take him last night. I thought for sure the Ravens were going to take him, and
Paul
I was just going to go, "Oh my God!" But yeah, he's talking. The Cowboys need a safety. Here's a kid from TCU who looks like he's the next big thing. So yeah, if they could trade up and get him,
if he gets to the 10th pick of the round,
Christian Barmore, the defensive tackle from Alabama, Syracuse cornerback Ifeatu, him.
Barmore's destined to be a Washington football team member. If you're an Alabama defensive lineman, they will draft you.
It's kind of like Boise State with the Cowboys. All right, now, coming up next, I had a chance to visit with Baylor signee. You remember we've had, Kendall Brown, up-tempo, had Langston Love. Jeremy Sochan throws a nugget out there today to me that I put up in the premium section. You're about to hear it about what he's going to do this summer. International ball was supposed to be a part of that. So Jeremy Sochan on Baylor's national title, on his game, where he's at, and much more. Sic'Em365 Radio. Alan Samuels, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. They're wrapping up the month of April. Of course, they have to because it's April 30th. Tomorrow is May the 1st. Your friend in the car business at Loop 340 east of 84 in Waco. Ram 3-peat Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Back to back to back. Top safety pick for trucks named in 2021. And the new Ram 1500 Crew Cab Lone Star. Total value is up to $5,500 or 0% financing for 84 months. There's the Jeep Celebration event going on as well. 2021 new Jeep Renegade Latitude. Total values of $5,250. 0% 84 months, also an option. 0% for 84 months or up to $5,000 in total values on the 2021 Jeep Cherokee Latitude Plus or Lux. Up to $5,000 total values, and again, 0% for 84 months. And even the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid Limited 2021, total values of $7,000 or 0% for 72 months. Alan Samuels, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, east of 84, Loop 340, Waco.
At Baylor University, students find their place to shine. They're faithful friends and inspirational leaders. They're championship teammates and independent thinkers. They're on the cutting edge of high tech and in the halls of history. If you want to make the world a brighter place, you can. And if you want to shine in your own way, you can. The spark you need is already inside you. Bring it to Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Stepping into a new pair of boots is great, but stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can also add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. There are more than 150 occupational specialties to help them find the best fit for their future. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
It's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobbets, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday
after 2 or all day Saturday and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house-cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasonings, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to Sic'Em365 Radio.
They go to the pistol, and he's in trouble. Micah Parsons again drops it for a loss of about a half yard on the play.
The 5 o'clock hour is sponsored by Edward Jones Investments with financial advisor Tom Albers, staying in touch with you and your money through these difficult and changing times. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Blackshear again, and hello, Micah Parsons.
Now here's David Smoke, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoke.
Joined by Jeremy Sochan, Baylor men's basketball signee here on Sic'Em365 Radio. Hey, thanks for being a part of the show, Jeremy. So much has gone on the last 2 or 3 weeks with men's basketball. I want to get into you and your plans this summer. What were your thoughts as you were able to watch Baylor capture the national championship?
It was crazy. Watching it with some of my teammates, I was just hyped up. I was very excited, and I was in shock, and I knew from the start that Baylor was going to win. Everyone was thinking Gonzaga was going to win easily, but I knew it. We're straight dogs, and it was great to see how happy they were and how excited they were. So it was great.
I know there's about a 6-hour difference in where United States and then where you are in Poland. So if they're playing at 9 o'clock at night on a Monday East Coast time, it's the middle, kind of very early in the morning. Did you get up and watch them early?
I stayed up the whole night. I was thinking of the game from like 10 p.m. and the game started, I think, 3:30 a.m. So it was, it was a good night. I went to sleep at like 6 a.m. and it was good. It was good.
Well, you love being a part of the Baylor program when you committed and then signed with them anyway. Does it make it even more special because of what now has been accomplished? And how much swag do you wear whenever you can to let everyone know where you're going?
Right. I mean, it's always great to win the championship and everything, but I feel like I've been wearing that swag before. I made great bonds with the coaches. They made great bonds with my family as well. So I've been excited like from then, and I just can't wait. I just can't wait to get on campus and start working with the team and be in that culture and get better every day.
Well, speaking of that, you have played for the Poland international team and had a great experience. Of course, Germany as well. So there's an international this summer, right? Event this summer. Are you going to play with the international team, or are you going to get to the United States?
It was something I had to talk with my family for quite a long time, and I don't think we've made a decision just yet with Poland national team. But I think because I've just injured my ankle 4 weeks ago in Germany, and now I'm back in England. I think we've went on a call with Baylor and everything, and I think it's maybe better for me to come to Baylor, to Waco, and just work on getting better every day and get used to the place and just work.
What did the coaching staff say when you said you might be getting there earlier than maybe they even thought?
They were a little bit shocked, and I think they were really happy that was the news, and I think they can't wait, and I can't wait to be there, and this is going to be very soon, in a month maybe, so it's going to be soon.
How much, other than the obvious, you're playing against grown men. You're not playing against, and there's nothing wrong with the elite level of the high school or AAU or whatever is the United States prep schools, whatever, but how much do you grow up, not only as a basketball skills and all that, but as a young man going up against men?
I think I've grown a lot since my time in Lalomir, and America. No disrespect or hate. Lalamere and high school basketball was great. There's a ton of exposure and everything. But once I stepped on the court in Germany, playing against older people, bigger players, more experienced, people who've been through the process already, from high school, college, to other professional teams, and I think I grew a lot, not only as a basketball player but also as a person, being away from family and stuff, and I think I've grown a lot, and I think you'll be able to see that on the court and off the court when I'm in Baylor. So
looking back at what happened in the last, really, and things are calming down quite a bit in the United States with COVID, and really it's people are now starting to live again and get things done again and go out and be around each other. And I've tried to do that, me personally, from the beginning, but with being smart. But now looking back on it, the decision you also made to go overseas, in the end, was that the right one?
I think it was. Maybe I think like with the season, like I saw that Lalamere did have a season, and they did play quite a lot of games. And maybe if I did stay, it would still be a good outcome. But I think the outcome of going to Germany, I think it was really good. I did things that I probably wouldn't be able to do if I stayed in high school, like playing for the Polish national team, senior team, and just having that experience of, playing professional and keeping my eligibility, and now being able to come to Baylor and, give a different type of experience to the team. And I think it was a good outcome in the end.
How much has your three-point shot improved? And it was already pretty good, but has it gotten better?
Right. I think it has. I think there's a lot that people haven't seen, especially in America. So I can't wait to get there and buy into the culture and, work and show people what I really am. So it's going to be exciting.
Jeremy, you're in a league and where you've played, where you've been able to face the basket more. You've been able to work with the ball screens on either side of the ball, whether it's on offense and defense, and Baylor has almost mastered that. Does that help you get right into what they do, the flow of what Baylor's doing now with the guards?
100%. The way Baylor plays, I think it really suits me defensively and offensively. I love to play defense, switch 1 through 4, 1 through 5, and I really like that. Especially you could see it during the NCAA tournament, how they all buy into the culture and they all want to defend and then play together on off pass. And I think it's really, really exciting, and it's the way I play.
I mentioned who you've played against, and you're a part of this international team, and you are the youngest player to ever be a part of that team. What kind of honor was that you made it, and then you played, and you had a dunk early in a game, and what was that like?
It was crazy. I'm still so shocked till this day about that game, and I even got the chance to play at that age and have the chance to start and play 30-something minutes, and it was crazy. It was a crazy game, and it was great. It was great.
Is that one of the highest moments of your basketball career?
100%. 100%.
You seem to be a perfect fit for what Baylor has with the kind of young men that they've played, whether it's Macy O'Teague, Davion Mitchell, Jared Butler, and who else is coming back, but those guys who have been Mark Vidal. What is it about the kind of player that it seems like Coach Drew and all the others on staff, Coach Tang and Jacobs and everybody, the kind of players and young men that they recruit to Baylor, how much of an influence did that make on you as well?
Right. It made a massive influence to me. Seeing all these players, buy into the culture, play with pride and joy, it really influenced me to go to Baylor. And the coaches were crazy. They were great to me. All very nice and helpful. So it was a big influence.
Jeremy Sochan with us. He played for the Polish international team, been overseas in England, of course, mentioned Germany, and he will be on Baylor's campus perhaps as early as June 1st or sometime early this summer. Langston Love, Kendall Brown, they're a part of that incredible class that you guys are all together. Your thoughts about, did you play against Kendall once when you were in the United States. Did you ever play against him?
Yeah, we played once in a, what was it? I think Cancer Research Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they won, but it was a good game. And yeah, it was good to play against him. He's a great player. Langston loves a great player as well, and I can't wait. I've been talking to them regularly, so it's going to be good.
What's it been like when they were winning on their way to the national title? The national title, is that kind of like a group chat, back and forth text between the three of you guys?
Yeah, for sure. No, we've been talking quite a lot. Also talking about the high school season. I've been talking to them, telling them if I stayed in Lalamere, we would have won the Geico National for sure. So, I've been talking to them quite a lot, so it's great. They're all good kids, good players, and good friends already, even though I haven't seen them. And I can't wait to get to Waco and stay with them and, build that relationship even more.
Yeah, they went against each other, so you're saying you would have interrupted that, huh?
For sure. No, Lalamere would have got the chip for sure.
So you just mentioned you played against Kendall, but when was the last, have you ever met Langston? Because of all that was going on, have you guys ever, met each other?
No, we haven't met each other. We've been in the same, places. I remember they played, I think, after us in Hoopoe. Mm-hmm. But that's it. I've never really talked to him in real life. So it'll be nice to see him.
Okay, you're about to play for the team that's going to defend and try to defend the national championship. I've mentioned that off the top. I've mentioned it a couple of different times. Is that just what feelings go through you when I say that you're going to play for a team trying to defend the national title?
It's very exciting, and I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on us. But I think a few people are underestimating how good we are again, and I can't wait. I can't wait to play.
Thank you for your time. I know that the time difference, it's a little bit strange, but we appreciate you, Jeremy, so much. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Hope your ankle heals, and can't wait to see you. Can't wait to watch you play for Baylor. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Can't wait.
Jeremy Sochan, Baylor signee, Sic'Em365 Radio.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
If you or a loved one or friend has been arrested and you can't afford bail, trust Terry and Chase Chapman at Chapman's Bail Bonds, covering Waco and McLennan County for over 25 years. Chapman's can bail you out anywhere with experienced, knowledgeable local agents who are committed to serving you professionally, respectfully, and with the highest integrity. Chapman's understands your privacy is important. Your freedom can be secured fast when you use Chapman's Bail Bonds. Open 24 hours a day. Payment arrangements available. Call Chapman's Bail Bonds. When you need help, 254-754-1603. When you ring, we'll spring.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
At
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Ram Truck Month means special pricing on the new 2021 Ram trucks at Allen Samuels. The three-peak Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram 1500 Lone Star Crew Cab, has special values up to $5,500 or 0% for 84 months. Allen Samuels, located at 201 West Loop 340 in Waco, Central Texas' new Ram commercial truck headquarters with 3,500 and 5,500 chassis cabs and other great work trucks. Visit Allen Samuels today. It's Ram Truck Month.
Come by. Let's be friends.
See dealer for details. All offers have credit requirements.
Welcome back to Sic'Em365 Radio.
The Sic'Em365 Radio app is sponsored by Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
Another note in college basketball, we get into the middle part of this 5 o'clock hour. Paul's 5 at 5:55 in 32 minutes. Jeff Goodman Hoops, Coastal Carolina transfer Devontae Jones will announce his decision on Saturday, 11 o'clock Central. Jones, top transfers, one of the top transfers in the country, Texas, Michigan, Memphis, and Texas Tech. Texas has had 3 already, and they are all really, really good. Oklahoma's done real well. Texas Tech got one. TCU got one from Tech. Baylor, of course, got Akinjo, who's a dynamic player as well, and they don't have a lot of room on their roster. So that's going to come down tomorrow as the transfer portal, or otherwise known as college free agency, continues.
Yeah, that I don't know what Texas' scholarship situation is, but it seems like they would be over with just the amount of transfers that have seemingly come in. But, I mean, obviously they're not if they still have room to add yet another, which would be their 4th or 5th transfer this offseason. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Beard's retooling that roster, and that's what you would expect. That's why he got hired. But, yeah, the Big 12 all around is doing the same thing. So it's going to be a battle next year for sure.
Yeah, I guess the transfer portal has created this other signing day almost that we have to – like people they're going to list their – one of the things I do like about the transfer portal so far is that very rarely do you hear guys saying where they're going to transfer. You'll find out that they visited here and there, but it's not a whole thing of like, here's my top 5 places to transfer to. What I'm worried about is that's where it's going to go.
Yeah,
it's going to be like, here's my top 8 transfer schools, and which annoys me enough because you can only visit 5.
Oh, my God, yeah.
So.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I would not be surprised, and I will hate it. I will hate it with a passion, but I will not be surprised when, and I think 24/7 already has kind of a transfer portal tracker thing or whatever, but if we start suddenly rating recruits who are recruits once again because they decided to transfer, I think that'd be stupid. But yeah, it's a different world we're living in for sure.
By the way, 2 other notes. Baylor softball tonight starts a series at home at Getterman, 6:30 tonight, Saturday at 2, and then Sunday at noon. I guess the weather, they were able to cover the field up, and it's kind of calmed down a little bit. It still looks like
rain hard. It's really just been spitting a lot.
They have great drainage at Getterman. They just one of the things about Getterman is, and the same thing at Baylor Ballpark, all they need is about 2 hours of no rain to get a game in. The problem is some days it just doesn't cooperate that way.
Well, tomorrow there is a 88% chance of rain, thunderstorms here in Waco, so we'll see what they do.
On the Hannah Guster's note that was reported by at the Next Hoops that she's entered the transfer portal, asked other schools not to contact her. She knows where she's going. The Baylor can't comment on that until she makes it official, unless she's pushed out the information, which she might have done, just like we get information from sources, et cetera, and or the person involved. And I'm not trying to be if that's the only one they lose, they lost to Jordan Oliver. Trinity, I mentioned the Olivers, Jordan Oliver going to Duke. Okay. Because I think what Baylor's also going to do, and they have Melissa Smith and Queen Egbo, is I think whoever they hire, The offense they run will not be just pounded down in the post, which has won 3 national titles and a bunch of Big 12 titles. I think you're going to see maybe a little bit more of a style that's more the outside perimeter style. Doesn't mean you still can't have the bigs inside. It's kind of what Baylor's gone from the bigs inside to what they've had success with the guards.
Well, more people run that. So like the odds of, Kim was old school. So more people run this style of offense that scores more points than Kim's style of basketball. So odds are, unless you find somebody who's completely in her school of thinking, that, that's going to change no matter who the coach is.
Now, Colt Barber sent this out earlier. We at Sic'Em365.com are running a promotion for 70% off an annual subscription. Going on right now, go to Sic'Em365.com/annual. Sic'Em365.com/annual. I've worked at not very many places. I've worked at a handful of businesses in my life. And I have to tell you, what Colt, Ashley, and Brian are always something new and something better for you, for us, for the whole entire brand, whether it's this documentary. Do you know that the other day I told you guys that somebody had written me a direct message about wanting to contribute to the documentary? $5,000 check. $5,000 check. Thank you so much. I'm not going to mention the name because it's private, but I had mentioned that. That's incredible. And the documentary is going to be amazing with Chris Charles Scott. And then this, and then the new video ability with the YouTube of what Colt updated that. It's on the home site. It's insane. The staff grows and the options grow. And so right now, Sic'Em365.com/annual, and you get 70% off an annual subscription. So
there are thousands of posts on Kim Mulkey alone over on that board, and thousands of posts about the coaching search. Like, there is a thread that's like 40,000 views, all talking about who the next head coach at Baylor is going to be, tons of football. I mean, there's discussion about everything, and there's plenty of forums to go discuss things like maybe the Waco economy. There's a forum for that in local business, and I think it's well worth it, especially when you compare it to, paying for other streaming services. The amount of information, if you're a Baylor fan, the amount of information, the stuff that we can't really say publicly that, can be said on the message boards as far as maybe the coaching search or, the Mulkey situation or other stuff like that. I mean, it's just a bunch of Baylor fans congregated to discuss the happenings, and lots of discussion, lots of disagreements, agreements, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's typically normally, $1 less than a standard Netflix subscription. But right now, 70% off. Like, I don't know why, if you're a Baylor fan, you would not take advantage of that. And I'm not saying that because, I'm involved. I'm just saying that's a great deal. So yeah, definitely take advantage of that 70% off.
And look, if you've ever been, and look, and the good news is, look, if you hear us now and don't do it and you miss it, 3, 4, 5 months from now, they're going to come up with another deal. There's always going to be a deal for it. So it's always going to be a great value, no matter what. But do this one right now. I mean, honestly, do this one right now. You can't, if you've let your subscription lapse, there's all these other ways you can do it. So it's a good deal.
Yeah. Right. And I would also say that, not only is there a ton of content, but it's just going to keep growing and getting bigger and better. And, I just think there's a lot of good. I mean, even the Fro every Friday, the Facts, Rumors, Opinion column that's for premium members. And most of all, though, if you like what we do, if you appreciate what we do, if you like our digs, if you like the guests, the ability moving forward now with COVID kind of being reined in a little bit, just in terms of having the option for vaccines and things like that. I mean, we're going to only open this thing up even more and more. So if you're wondering how you can support what we do and make sure that we keep doing what we're doing, that's the way to do it, is to subscribe to the website. That's how you can immediately impact what Sic'Em365 does and what we'll do in the future.
Yeah. By the way, guys, a quick story from MCC I want to know today. Big news. Let's see, big freshman pitcher Logan Henderson threw a 7-inning perfect game today.
No kidding.
21 up, 21 down.
I drive by there all the time on Lakeshore to get here, and I mean, they are always, that's just a nice setup.
Beat North Central 4-0. They won the second game 11-2. By the way, in the first game, Garrett Martin and Mason Greer 2 for 3 at the plate. Smokey, you know who Mason Greer's father is?
Rusty?
Yep.
No kidding.
One of my all-time favorite Ranger players.
No, two can play at this game today, Smokey.
Well, I don't.
The greatest Ranger of all time.
I don't dislike Rusty Greer. I don't think he should ever be in the same conversation with the name of Juan Gonzalez.
Yes.
You hate Tim Tebow.
I mean, look, yes, that's true.
So it's not the same thing.
I'm trying to think who my guy would be that I really, really dislike.
I mean, there's someone that like always weasels their way into a conversation about, well, this guy was good because they were Captain Tryhard. And look, Rusty Greer was an excellent baseball player, but he was not. I mean, Juan Gonzalez was an MVP.
He's not a top 10 Ranger all time, dude.
No,
he's not a top 10 Ranger all time.
I would take him on any Rangers team.
He's Bill Bates, but better as the Rangers.
I would take him on any Rangers team ever. You know, you want a guy like that who is a consistent hitter and great in the field. But again, if you said you can take him on any Rangers team of all time, or Juan Gonzalez or Pudge Rodriguez on any Rangers team of all time, sorry, Rusty.
Yeah, no way. Pudge all day, and then Juan would not be a bad backup.
Brian Etheridge put this in 4 hours ago, so I think it's fair game. It was in the premium section at 1:16 or so.
Is there a time limit on when things are no longer premium?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to get to all of it, but he basically gave an update on the coaching search. He still sticks with the fact that he believes that there will be an announcement as early as Monday. And
if you want all the details, you can sign up and become a premium member, and you can read all of what's being said about the coaching search.
And they have been doing either phone and interviews, et cetera, in person or whatever, as they continue. And Brian has been, I'm telling you, he's been into this, done a great job along with what Ashley hears, because he's into the basketball part of it as well, and what we've been able to pass along. DoorDash, I got to do this. So we ordered Nukes. Armstrong, get the mic. Armstrong is a hateful person at times. I keep you alive with food.
Yes.
So we ordered a local restaurant. We're not going to bring them up because it's not their fault.
It's not their fault, yeah.
So I've had hell with DoorDash, although yesterday we had one of the best fast food restaurants of all time delivered here, correct?
Yeah, and it took like 5 minutes.
13 seconds is what it took.
Yeah.
So, and I'm knocking the door, boom. So I ordered something today, and even Paul, you and I are going to split something, right? Paul and Craig and Armstrong. So we're not that hard to find. We're on the corner of 101 Elm and MLK.
Yep.
It's, I do wish that there was a sign above here, and at some point I guess we can get that done. So I ordered sandwiches. Healthy sandwiches, except Armstrong's had like 3 or 4 slabs of bacon. But so I get this note, we're trying to call you. I'm on the air, so I can't. So they decided to cancel the order. They didn't know where we were. How hard is it? We're right now. It's a traffic, I know it's. So I just got an email so they canceled it, right? Mm-hmm. I got an email from DoorDash. David, 30% off your first pickup order. Well, I'm surely not going to order them to deliver ever again because they've screwed up.
Here's what I want to know: why would I order DoorDash for pickup when I could?
That's exactly the point.
Why would I pay their fee to get pickup when I could just go get it?
You get that at your place?
No, I don't.
I know you used to. Do you, Armstrong? DoorDash? We've had it here.
I do. I DoorDash. Yeah.
I've never done DoorDash to where I live ever.
No, I've never done that either.
I don't understand why it's so difficult with me. It's challenging.
Well, like I told you, there's other options out there, but you are insistent on this one in particular being your battle. But there are other companies that do the exact same thing that you could try, and that's what I would do at this point because DoorDash has been.
I hate to give them bad publicity, but you know what? It's just it doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And you're starving. I
am starving.
Every time we took a break, what about DoorDash?
Armstrong, I'll tell you this. Armstrong he's a very affable young man.
He's a wonderful young man.
He's affable, but I tell you, when he gets hungry,
Lord of mercy.
There's a reason Jack isn't here today. I think Armstrong made him cry. I'm just saying.
All right, one other note, men's basketball. I saw this from Coach Jacobs. Zach Edmondson is with the Phoenix Suns in basketball strategy analyst. Used to be with Baylor men's basketball. Ryan Resch, we've had him on the show. Chief of Staff Director, Basketball Strategy, Phoenix Suns, formerly a part of Baylor men's basketball. Jake Lindsey's in the front office. His father's the president of executive vice president of basketball operations, Baylor basketball. And
of the Utah Jazz.
Of the Utah Jazz. Ben Everett, graduate assistant at Baylor, sports management at Baylor. He is with, I just lost. That's the one that John Jacobs said will probably be next up as somebody that joins the front office. And again, we're not talking general manager, although Dennis Lindsay, former Baylor, is the executive VP of operations.
Jake Lindsay will be an NBA GM one day.
So that Scott Drew coaching tree, which we've discussed, not just this year, but in the past, and now Coach Drew and the coaching tree that goes into the administrative or the directive or the operations part of it as well, front office.
I can't wait to see the first Jake Lindsay GM press conference where somebody asks him a question and he's like, no. he'll just break it down. I know he's doing, no, I don't want to.
When I was in Indianapolis, he and his father were at a restaurant where I met Kendall Kaut. We were having a late breakfast or lunch, and we walk in and Dennis Lindsay and Jake are there. And then there's 2-3 guys that played back in the day, and I think the early 70s as well. And I'm sorry if I forget your names. But yeah, Jake, like you're having a conversation with him, but you don't know if he's like.
Oh, he's got this. he's such a great guy, but he has a way. Like I remember there were a couple times where people would ask him questions at press conference, and he'd be like, "Nah,
no."
Like kind of next one.
Yeah, no. I mean, to your point, they've got more and more NBA influence, and now there's going to be probably 2 or 3 guys that join the league. Freddie Gillespie's now with Toronto, signed the regular deal. And that's awesome for him, to get off that 10-day contract and actually have a full deal. So, yeah, I mean, between Gillespie, getting into the NBA and the, constant influx of guys from the staff getting into, positions in front offices, it's blossoming for Baylor basketball right now. And they'll have some more, jerseys or what have you to hang some pictures of draft picks and things like that. They'll have that to hang here in a few months when that rolls around. So things are building, things are growing, and like I said, things are blossoming.
All right, Smokey, so you complained and got 30% off your first pickup order? I didn't do anything.
And got 25% off. I need to send that. I have not brought this up on the air before, but I'm going to do it. I'm not going to mention who sent this to me, but this was back in October of what we do with this show. This is just wasting time and energy. There will be 1, maybe 2 games before it's scrapped, talking about the football season. This is the same person that said, you guys are wasting your time. This Sic'Em365 thing is never going to work. And that was back early on when we first started, and here we are, we're a year into it. We don't know. Every day is different. We saw 13 months ago where our world changed quite a bit, but we cannot thank you. And we go on, we have these interviews, we discuss, we take texts, we take calls. We want to take even more. And we don't ever want you to think we don't know you're there. As watchers, viewers, listeners, whatever, on whatever form of how you listen to us or watch us, we always love your feedback and appreciate it. And it's just been an incredible almost 13 months. You just wanted to say that.
It's really not bad, 13 months for a silly little internet thing. It's just
crazy. Internet thingy. Paul, what's your thingy?
I don't want to talk about it.
Weird question.
No. I don't think it's any of your business.
Kind of like the Bearcast.
The who?
Like the Bearcast.
Oh, the Bearcast.
Which is very thorough.
You got thick, massive amounts of information loaded into.
Stop.
Yeah.
No,
okay. I think you have a thingy for Tim Tebow.
No, I don't. I have a vendetta. I mean, it's fine. You have to. Anybody who doesn't have a vendetta is just wasting your time. You got to have at least one vendetta in your life. I have several.
You got to let those go, Paul. When we had Carolyn Peck on yesterday, which got a lot of play, but one of the names she mentioned, no, I'm not saying this is a candidate, have no clue. We've heard about the other names, whether it's Corey Close, UCLA, Mabry from Marquette. Obviously, Johnny Taylor from Georgia, despite what may have been, Joni Taylor. Johnny? Yeah, Joni Taylor. And she mentioned Jolette Law, South Carolina. She mentioned Johnny Harris, who's worked in various parts. In fact, I mentioned had been on a staff as well. Wasn't it? She the one with Vic Schaefer? Is that right? She's at Auburn, the head coach at Auburn. She was at Mississippi State, helped create that team as well. It's interesting to see some of these. She's from Arkansas, which, of course, Satia Messer, who would be amazing. Would be great for us because we've had her on and what she's done as well. So these are some of the names. Some of these are assistant coaches. Of course, Messer is on staff. And what we reported with Bill Brock and Satia both being a part of the process. That's, what's going to be neat is maybe Monday you wake up a week later then maybe Baylor's calling for a possible press conference to introduce the new basketball coach and not wasting any time if they can get that done. That would be the goal if they could possibly get it done. Let's see. What else we got? Nate Newton is going to join us on Monday to review the Cowboys draft. That'll be fun. And I got a couple of others. I'm telling you some monster names next week.
You know,
like Tebow's not one of them.
Good. We may want to reach out to Danny White again.
Yeah, we could do that. We could possibly do that as well. That wouldn't be a bad idea, Paul.
He enjoys being on with us.
Yeah, he does, and he could break down all the other things. So, let's see. Joe Horn, former Saints wide receiver, said he was disappointed Friday morning, not as a former Pro Bowl wide receiver who once fought. Well, he said he wanted to know the rest of the world. His son, JC, used the 8th pick. He said instead he watched broadcasts and other outlets focus constantly on Aaron Rodgers while his son was being picked.
You know why? Because I know which broadcast he watched.
ESPN?
Twitter SPN. I mean, that's because Twitter is talking about Aaron Rodgers. ESPN is going to talk about Aaron Rodgers. You want ESPN to talk about something? Tweet about it nonstop. Like
I gotta say, man, that Mike Greenberg. I know he was a legendary radio host for a lot of people. I find him to be more boring than the paint on this wall. And I could watch that for like 2 minutes last night before I was like, no, done.
Didn't watch it.
Could not stomach Mike Greenberg and that crew. I ended up watching the College Game Day crew. Desmond Howard's an obnoxious, he's an obnoxious ass. He is. But I would much rather still listen to him than the paint drying that was going on the other network.
NFL Network does a really good job.
They do good,
and Rich Eisen runs circles around everybody when it comes to hosting that draft.
And I was back and forth. And then I saw Joe Klatt, who knows college football as well as anybody. And you're right that there's certain options that there are there.
I mean, no crew's perfect, but I would much rather watch the NFL Network than the College Game Day crew. And then I'm just not going to watch. I mean, basically, I could not watch more than like 5 minutes of that last night. And thank you for all the reminders about the pandemic. Yes, we know everybody had their shots to get in the arena. You don't have to tell us every 3 minutes that everybody's been vaccinated and the commissioner's been vaccinated. No S. That's why we see him hugging the guys on the stage. Like, it's just so stupid.
All right, here's a couple of quotes from Joe Horn. I never let my emotions take over my thoughts, but this morning, after all of the time, fatherly instinct, love came out of me. I'm just very happy he's with the Carolina Panthers. But he said, listen, I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. But last night, he told this on ESPN, last night when I saw that he was not happy with Green Bay, when I saw nothing at all talked about with my son, it kind of upset me. I was disappointed. And he was just talking about the coverage because they just won't let go of something.
And maybe he should flip the channel. But I know what he's saying. It's like, they obsess then over the Twitter rumors and that's what Paul said a couple minutes ago, and that's what they do. Like, so I think it's interesting that that article's on ESPN when he's talking about ESPN. But yeah, I mean that's part of the deal. And dude, there's other options out there.
You know what's funny? It reminds me of. During the Boston Marathon bombing a few years ago, Jake Tapper erroneously reported something that was going on and then was doing a live report. And he got an email on his phone and was reading it. And as he was reading it, you could see the look on his face.
Did he have gotten something wrong?
Well, I mean, he knew. Well, he got it wrong, and he hadn't retracted it yet. And it was pretty well known it was wrong. So he's like, "Oh, we just got an email from the FBI," and he reads it out loud, and it was obvious. The FBI, without naming him, was like, "Jake Tapper, you did this wrong," and he was reading it on the air live. And Jon Stewart's clip of the Daily Show was hilarious. He was like, "Hey, they're talking about you."
Yeah,
like that's you.
Yeah,
they're talking about. ESPN's doing that. That's who they're talking about. It was. I can promise you, it wasn't NFL Network.
Oh yeah.
NFL Network let it go until the Packers. And also they're the NFL, so like they have to answer directly to the teams that run and own them. So I'm sure had not covered the Panthers or whoever enough, they would have heard about it from that team, who owns them.
By the way, somebody just mentioned, I thought the Jordan Oliver transfer was before the coaching change. Yes, it was. No one said it wasn't. It's just that's one that's moving on. But again, with Hannah Guster's, that story, and Baylor cannot confirm that. That's going to be something either Hannah floated out, told somebody, or they heard it from somebody else as well. 5:47 when we come back. Paul Catalina's 5 at 5:55. We got a break here, Paul?
Yes.
When we come back, Armstrong Sims will find out whether or not we get delivery from Marco's Pizza, because they're one of our sponsors that are great people, thanks to Bob Mock and Company with their locations in China Spring, Woodway, and also in Belle Meade. Waco Custom Marketplace, their value beef case continues through the weekend. They're open until 6 tonight, which they're about to close, and then also open times tomorrow as well at 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco. Value beef case includes fajita meat for $4.50 a pound. Short ribs at $2.99 a pound. Man, I'd love to put those in the electric smoker that I have. And I know some of you, oh my God, it's electric. It is unbelievable. And I can't have any open flame, so I use the electric smoker, put the ribs in there, and just they're delicious. T-bone and ribeye steak at $4.99 a pound. Neck bones at $2.99 a pound. And the 7 steak at $3 a pound. I am, one of the reactions to that is I'm going today, and let's go. And Waco Custom Marketplace is just fantastic. They have a bakery that every day, fresh baked bread, treats and sweets, and kolaches. The butcher shop with seafood, pork, and poultry, plus, of course, beef and whatever you want. And they will cut your steaks, whether ribeyes or bacon-wrapped fillets or just fillets or whatever you want. They got the prime rib if you want to go big time with that as well. And sometimes they have bacon that is peppered bacon. If you've not had that before, and some people like more pepper than not, I'm a big pepper fan. Peppered bacon. Then they'll slice it however thick you want. It is just to die for as well. Plus everything up and down the aisles in between, whether you want pasta or any kind of box type of dinners or even a can of Rotel tomatoes. Waco Custom Marketplace every Wednesday before 6. Order 30-pound sacks of crawfish. Pick them up after 2 on Fridays or during the day on Saturday at 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco.
With more than 160,000 alumni worldwide and counting, the Baylor family is growing. And through the university's expanded Baylor alumni program, the family is growing closer. With hundreds of local volunteers planning events in cities and towns around the country, you can gather with fellow Bears no matter where you are. So, get connected, get something started, get involved, and make plans to get together with Baylor alumni. Visit us at baylor.edu/alumni.
Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like our free First mobile app, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. That's the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause weight gain, and wreak havoc on your sexual desire and performance. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results, so if you're tired of being tired, I challenge you to man up and Google search Low T Waco or go online pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $150 a month, includes lab blood work, office consultation, testosterone injections, follow-up visits compared to $395 a month in Dallas or Austin, and you don't have to fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T as board-certified physician consultations will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone available. Contact Petty Clinic Low T today. Just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway, Petty Clinic Low T, helping men become the high-performance men they deserve to be. PettyClinicLowT.com or Google search Low T Waco.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
This is Sic'Em365 Radio. Text us at 254-339-1122. The Sic'Em365 Radio text line is sponsored by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
One more college basketball note. Iowa transfer guard C.J. Frederick, pretty good player. Apparently is nearing his decision right now. The leader in the clubhouse. That doesn't mean he'll pick him, but Kentucky is a part of that. So some interesting decisions coming up. In fact, this weekend. Hey, Kyle Gibson's 3-0.
Yeah, beat the Red Sox last night.
Beat the Red Sox last night. Great job.
Yeah. Enjoy him while you can, because he's getting traded in a few weeks, most likely.
He and Joey Gallo.
Yeah,
are getting traded.
And Joey Gallo sucks this year.
One of you said, no.
But Kyle Gibson's going to be, I would be kind of surprised, because it feels to me like they're going straight prospects galore. And the roster they have right now is not winning a World Series. So if you can flip a Kyle Gibson for 2, 3, 4 prospects or whatever, rebuild your farm system, that's probably the way to go. So yeah, the better a guy like Kyle Gibson plays, the better that actually is for the Rangers, because not only do they win, but also raises his value for midsummer, and we'll probably see them make some moves.
Which they seem to strike out on a lot of those guys at the peak of when they can get traded. Teixeira, they got a lot for him, obviously, but not often have they gotten much back. Richard Deitch, by the way, the NFL Draft combined viewership, all networks, was 12.6 million, down 3 million from last year. Of course, everyone was home, and you really didn't have much access. It's about what they've been averaged, a little bit better than what they averaged in 18 and 19. And both of you guys told me this, that it's the first time ever that they had more viewers than what was
than
it?
The Oscars.
The Oscars.
And I can tell you this, because I've heard of Trevor Lawrence, I've not heard of Nomadland.
Yeah.
If I'm the normal person. So,
okay.
Good
for them. The Oscars, to me, can go to hell.
Keep
All
it
right. And I know you're a big movie guy.
I'm with you.
Not a big movie guy because it's a stupid award show.
Yeah.
That's not why you're a movie fan. But, there's people that enjoy it. That's fine. To each their own, man. I'm not going to really disparage people that like certain things, but I couldn't care less about a self-congratulatory event like the Oscars anymore. I just feel like that's kind of gone out of style, and people see through all that fakeness and just the ridiculousness of it.
All right, Paul?
This is Paul Catalina's Top 5 at 5:55.
All right, top 5 things that make Micah Parsons the perfect Dallas Cowboys draft pick. Of course, we're brought to you by Slapsticks Comedy. We are doing an event tomorrow night, 9 o'clock at Rogue Media Network, 715 Washington. Tickets are getting close to getting sold out for that improv show tomorrow night. I'll be in that show, so come and watch me make a fool of myself on stage. It's a good time. We're going to have a blast. Tickets are $20, and you can get them. Just go to Slapsticks Comedy's Facebook page, and you can order your tickets there. All right, top 5 things that make Micah Parsons the perfect Cowboy. Number 5. That he may have been a top 5 pick had he played. So this is what they can convince themselves, Smokey. Had he played, he's a top 5 pick.
All right.
Yeah. The fact that he did not play for a year before he was drafted. Now, it wasn't because he was injured, it's because he opted out, but the Cowboys have drafted guys with torn ACLs before. So this is kind of a double whammy for them.
Yeah, he might have, like you said, been a top 5 pick. So maybe they just drafted a top 5 pick last night. Time will tell, of course, but I think you got to feel, hey, food's finally arrived.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marcos. Go ahead, Craig.
Yes. But yeah, we'll see obviously over time, but there is a reason to believe that, maybe they got a guy who should have gone even higher, and maybe a bit of a sleeping giant, so to speak.
Yeah. All right. The hype train that surrounded him, and we'll get to this one when Armstrong gets back to the desk. He's got more important things to do. We've got to feed Armstrong, or he gets.
Armstrong, can you get back before you start eating the slices of pizza?
Yeah.
Take your time, Armstrong.
Yeah.
Did you need Parmesan?
Did you give him the $10 I gave you for the tip?
Okay.
Go ahead. Did he switch it? Yeah. Here we go.
And so the hype. Look, he won an award, and Jerry likes hype, right?
Yeah, I got to go help out on the tip here. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
What? Sorry.
Dear God. This is great television here.
Oh, it's even better radio.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Better, yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. The hype surrounding Micah Parsons. He was an award winner, and he's a hyped name, and he's a name, and Jerry likes names. So again, perfect Dallas Cowboy. Number 2, and Armstrong, I don't know if you can pull up a picture of this real quick. The suit he wore last night. Did you see that suit last night?
Yeah, he was dressed very sharp.
That was a Dallas Cowboys suit right there.
Lots of no socks and lots of ankles / half of shins showing in those suit pants. I'm not a fashionista, obviously, but I don't. That wouldn't be comfortable to me. The almost capri pant suit pants that these guys were wearing last night, but that's what's in style, I suppose.
Yeah, I'll never understand that. I'll never understand male capri pants. It's something that will just be beyond me for the rest of my life. Something I'm not supposed to understand, I guess. I don't know. And number 1, the ego. And I say this in a good way and a bad way. Look, I think Jalen Smith's ego and hype has kind of gotten out of control. But look, if Micah Parsons can back this up, he's clearly a very confident guy. And Jerry likes it. Jerry likes guys with ego because Jerry has an ego. Jerry likes people who get on his level.
Yeah.
And I think Micah Parsons has that kind of swagger about him. And they need that. And like Mickey said earlier, who's the bad mother shut your mouth on that defense? Nobody. Nobody really. I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence and who?
Nobody. We talked about this earlier. Yeah, there's not anybody. A bunch of dudes who act like alpha dogs, but not a single one that really is for the most part. DeMarcus Lawrence, like you said, is the only one really, but Leighton Vander Esch does nothing to frighten me. Jalen Smith does nothing to frighten me. Secondary, I mean, it's a defense that needs a lot of improvement, which we'll see starting tonight, and we saw starting last night, and we'll see, I'm sure, more of tonight.
Yeah. So there's going to be there's one starter on defense already. I would not be surprised if the second round pick starts pretty quickly on defense. If they're on defense, if they're not,
what would you guys say if they get the kid from TCU? I think
that'd be a great pick. I mean, it'd be a great pick, but I wouldn't allow them to. If I'm somebody ahead of them, I'd imagine one of the 9 teams has a need for safety, or somebody behind them would be enticed enough to jump up and grab him. So, yeah, they might have to wheel to jump up a couple picks, maybe use that third rounder they got last night. Potentially he just falls in their lap, kind of like Detroit last night with Sewell. But, no, I think that would be the exact recipe. What you're looking for tonight is a safety like Woodard.
All right, Paul, again, how many have now watched your top 5 women's basketball coaching candidates? Is it 50,000?
I don't know. I haven't gotten an update in the last couple of days. I didn't want my ego to get too big.
29,000.
It went down. Some people wanted to say they unwatched it. Yeah, they unwatched it. Okay. It's been a hell of a week, huh? And next week we'll possibly be able to talk to the new women's basketball coach at Baylor, along with a couple of other nuggets we're working on. Nate Newton on Monday will look at the draft over and over again with us. Armstrong Sims, great job. You devoured the pizza before you even got back to it, and I'm sorry for the unprofessional behavior from me. I knew that I had to sign my name on that on the phone.
You didn't need to do that.
It's weird because they've never had that before. Also, that man had no fear. Most people walk in and realize we're live. And
they're like, oh, my God. Yeah.
He just stood there.
I think he
tried to have a conversation.
We may have picked up a new viewer.
Or we're live on the air.
He might be one of those guys who, when there's a newscast going on, stands behind it and be like, in tragedy struck today as the furniture store burned down. He's like, woo!
Yeah. All right. Count them up. Thanks to Grayson Grundhoefer. I love the Brian Skinner segment as well. That was great. Thanks to Mickey Spagnola for being a part of the show. Jim Cobern. Also, as well as Jeremy Sochan. He was so patient with me trying to call Poland. UK and his phone number. And also thanks to Paul's 555 for bringing us 29,000 views for the women's basketball search. If none of those who you put up hit next week, you lose the 29,000. It's like Bitcoin.
Look, I was just giving suggestions.
Well, if they don't hire somebody, did you mention Messer and Brock as part of that? I don't remember.
I think Messer was number 2, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, if they don't hire any of the people that you mentioned, then it's going to be a complete out of nowhere kind of a surprise. But hey, Matt Rule was too. That's what we keep, we've said is you never know with the Mack Rhoades coaching search.
Two people on the list that would be kind of out of nowhere surprises is the coach from Missouri State and Molly Miller. But yeah, and part of the reason I put them on that list was because Mack Rhoades has a penchant for out of nowhere. Because he'd know, there's nothing on my list that Mack didn't watch that and go, oh, really, Molly Miller? Never heard of her. Believe me, he's heard of her. He's heard of all of them. He knows.
By the way, Girl Friday 85 at Waco Custom Meats. I know we got to go. Their pork loin is awesome. Thanks to Armstrong, to Craig, to Paul. Thank you very much for watching and listening to our great sponsors. I'm David Smoke. Good night, Sic'Em. Have a great weekend. Sic'Em365 Radio.
My job, but I don't mind getting up in the morning. I dread each day, but I can't wait to get out of bed. You ask me why, and what I'll say to you is true. Well, you can get breakfast tacos at Rudy's Barbecue. Scrambled eggs and brisket, they ain't fooling around. Salsa drap, son, they're the best in town. Barbecue for breakfast, yes, it's true. Put a smile on your morning at Rudy's Barbecue. Next in line.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has been proudly serving Texans across the state for over 60 years. Call 254-772-8090 to find an agent who will provide a free review of your auto, home, and life coverage.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.